Rugby, bitter rivalries set aside in a quest to create the world's best team in weeks. There's nothing like it, but who on earth had the idea and how did it all begin? Incredibly, the first Lions tour was organised and funded by three men who played in England's first ever Test cricket match: opening bowler Alfred Shaw, opening batsman Arthur Shrewsbury and captain James Lillywhite. The 1888 Lions squad, then made up of 17 English, 4 Scots and 1 Welshman and a Northern Irishman, took a 46-day boat trip to New Zealand before heading to Australia. The Lions weren't alone on the boat. Also on board were 300 stoats and weasels, who were brought over to eliminate New Zealand's rabbit problem. The first ever Lions captain, Robert Seddon, died of drowning midway through the tour while sculling on a river. Andrew Stoddart, who was another of the cricketers there, took over and was the star of the tour. The next one was the first to get official recognition from the RFU against the newly formed Springboks. Although the Lions won the series and beat the Boks again 5 years later, in the 12 series since in South Africa, they've only won 2. New Zealand has proved an even tougher hunting ground, just the 1 series win for the Lions in 11 attempts, which came in 1971. And then there was that nail-shredding drawn series in 2017, only the second in Lions history. Only once have the Lions clinched a series after losing the first test, 1989, when David Campese's infamous ghost pass was pounced upon by Ian Evans. Before World War II, the Lions had a dark blue strip, which on the 1930 tour forced the All Blacks to play in all white. So in 1950, the iconic red shirts, white shorts and blue and green socks combination was born. It remains the symbol of the greatest alliance of adversaries in all of sport. To borrow the phrase from Jim Telfer, the Lions is Everest.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. It's 4 minutes past 6, Monday, September the 29th. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me today. Morning, Gabby.
Good morning, Jeff. How are we, mate?
I'm good. Hey, listen. Can you hear it? That's the sound of thousands of abusive so-called American golf fans slinking away from Bethpage Black with their tails between their legs. That's the sound of Keegan Bradley, who disgraced himself by saying that the Americans' behaviour was passion, not abuse. That's the sound of Bryson DeChambeau forgetting he hadn't beaten Matt Fitzpatrick, forgetting he'd only won 1 of his 5 matches, and forgetting that the USA had been beaten. A win for the good guys, Gabby. And I loved it.
How good was it, Jeff?
Oh.
Honestly, mate, like you know, I haven't really been into golf, but watching the Ryder Cup, I'll be definitely into golf a lot more. How amazing must it have been for all of the European golf players to look at that annoying guy that was saying, "Get it in the hole! Get it in the hole!" Honestly, Jeff, I had to mute it at times because he was doing my head.
Well, it wasn't just one. It was thousands.
Whoever it was.
Thousands of them. And the other people who were screaming, "4 right!" at every European drive. You absolute... Seriously, was every muppet in the United States on that golf course at the weekend? They must have been.
I remember my first 3 Bud Lights, Jeff. That's what it was. You know, a few too many beers. And like, we'll come into it a lot more, won't we, during the show? But there's a certain amount of disrespect that a sportsman will take on whatever sport they're doing, if it's golf, football, tennis, cricket, whatever it is. But what Rory McIlroy had to have, and also Shane Lowry, disgusting. And that's not golf, is it?
No.
That's not what we associate with golf.
No, I mean, it's completely, totally unacceptable. I mean, the personal abuse is completely unacceptable. But, you know, as a 18 handicap golfer, the fact that people are shouting, screaming on the backswing of the European players and thinks it's not golf. And the good thing is, Gabby, that in 2 years' time, the Ryder Cup will be in Ireland. And the Irish will teach the American so-called fans how they can enjoy a spectacle, support their team, drink copiously, and still behave properly, which is something the Americans certainly didn't do. But who cares at the end? Because we had the last laugh.
Yes, thanks.
We had the last laugh.
Thanks for the trip to New York. We really enjoyed ourselves.
Absolutely. and it was wonderful at the end, wasn't it? So inevitably, that is where we will start. And a special moment, actually, not just for Europe, but also for Shane Lowry.
Start spreading the news.
Shane Lowry has the whole hopes of Europe on his shoulders. Can he send the ball on its way? We have retained the cup. That is it. Shane is bouncing, jumping, leaping. Americans' comeback has been halted. It was so nerve-wracking, but Shane Lowry is the star man here, winning that final hole, having made a brilliant approach shot. All square, we have got to 14. The cup comes back to Europe.
New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep.
Shane Lowry getting Europe over the line. Tyrrell Hatton then rubbed salts in the Americans' wounds by actually getting the half a point that won the Ryder Cup. Bob McIntyre at the end weighed in too. Never in doubt, was it really, Gabby? Never in doubt.
It wasn't, but it became a bit scary, didn't it, yesterday? You got to give some credit to the United States of America, haven't you? Because
the players, yeah.
Yeah, not the fans, obviously, but the players, because all I was hearing yesterday morning was, this is done, it's going to be a record. And for them to get so close back into it, you've got to give them some credit.
Yeah. No, completely agree. They played brilliantly in the singles, but people have got to remember, that this was a 3-day competition. Yes. And I think some people might feel that because we struggled to get over the line on the final day, that the gloss was taken off the victory. And I think absolutely not at all. That some of the performers out there, obviously Tommy Fleetwood, Rory, Lowry, but Justin Rose, sensational. Tyrrell Hatton's putting, Matt Fitzpatrick. People will look at that and say, well, he was 5 up against DeChambeau, didn't win the match, picked up another half a point. He was brilliant during the course of the week and brilliant in the first half of that, match against DeChambeau. I tell you,
just some of the ease, though, Jeff. Some of the ease they're hitting these balls at.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
no, I mean, it's
190 miles per hour. I think it was Deschamps. Wow, it's incredible.
It's just amazing when you looked at Scotty Scheffler physically next to Rory McIlroy, and he towers over him, and it's hard to fathom that McIlroy actually hits the ball further than
exactly.
It's just amazing. My biggest disappointment of the night, by the way, was because my hotel room didn't have Sky, is I'm watching it on my phone. Okay, for the last couple of hours, and things. I'm waiting to see if Lowry sinks his putt to guarantee we retain the Ryder Cup. And I'm watching it on Sky Go. And as I'm waiting, a Sky News alert comes through saying, Europe retained Ryder Cup as Lowry sinks putt. I mean, oh, for goodness sake.
Jeff, I was in the taxi. And when that putt was happening, I was like, please, London's got good 4G, don't you dare let me down now.
Yeah.
Amazing, mate.
I mean, I think the other thing to just bear in mind, as we obviously will fulsomely praise the prayers.
Yes.
But Luke Donald, captain, calm, classy, respectful, got absolutely everything right. Keegan Bradley did not get everything right, the American captain.
You've got to praise as well the European players. All that abuse, Jeff, you can go one way or the other, can't you?
Yeah.
It can inspire you and think, you know what, look at Shane Lowry's, all through the 3 days, Shane Lowry, his expressions, he wanted to go over to the Americans. Whenever he hit a great shot, he was fuming with anger. You either go one way, don't you? Some players will maybe crumble with the abuse, but the European players were like, all right, then, you're going to make us play even better now.
Yeah, well, I think, the intensity of the situation and the abuse, it ground Rory down in the end. Simple as that. One man who's been in New York for the whole week, talkSPORT's Rupert Bell, he caught up with Tommy Fleetwood after Europe had won the Ryder Cup.
I think we had a period of relief when we eventually got that done, but we're enjoying it right now. I think when we look back on it, what an amazing achievement it was from the team, from the guys. We came in, we felt confident, but doing it is another thing. Like I said, it got a bit tighter today than we probably wanted it to. A lot of matches went down the last and it didn't go our way, and the Americans put up a great fight, but this was our time.
I'm proud of you of what you did on the first stage. You're still unbeaten. I mean, this is an extraordinary record.
It's just, it's all in vain if the team doesn't win, and I really don't. I'm proud of my individual record in a Ryder Cup, if you like, but I really, you'd give it all up. I'm part of this team, and for us to have won another Ryder Cup is the most special thing. And playing a part and contributing to that points total means a lot, and there's a lot of emotion that goes into every single one of these games. But overall, just having another team that got to whatever we got to, did we end up with 15 points? That's what matters the most.
Are you going to lead the chance for 2 more years?
I am. Yeah, I've been telling him for a long time. He's going to be doing it for 3. I've said a long time we're going to go for the 3-peat, Luke. So we'll see. We'll see, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Luke Donald will be back in charge in 2 years' time. And let's hope we can put them to the sword.
How good was he, though? Fleetwood.
Tommy Fleetwood, brilliant. And I think, the fact that he lost on the final day was really down to the fact that he was exhausted. It's a lot to go out there, it's a lot to go and play 36 holes of golf and do the practice and get, to the course and back from the course and to your media duties without having all the stuff that's going on around.
No, I couldn't believe as well, Joe. I've seen a clip of Stephen Warnock. He's out there. And he was one of the ones that was running to tee off at 5:30. And he had a video of him running, and the amount of people that are sprinting to get their spot where they tee off at 5:30 in the morning, that just shows how massive and big the Ryder Cup is.
Oh, it's it's on my bucket list now. I'm going to be in Ireland. Never been to a Ryder Cup, but I'm determined to go. Now, John has texted in from Essex, and he's dead right here. And he said, on top of the lack of class, the lack of quality, and the lack of respect, can we also talk about how poor the Americans' chants were? No creativity, no imagination, just copious amounts
Get it in the hole.
Cringe. You're
Get it in the hole.
Absolutely
so annoying.
Right. And by the way, a lot of stories coming out to say that the PGA announcer who led the chants of bleep you, Rory, resigned. Believe me, she will not have resigned. She will have been shown the door. Oh, get out and stay out, because, again, that was an absolute
disgraceful. I seen a clip before play started. I think it was Saturday, and all the American fans are in there, and she's trying to conduct a sort of chant for Scheffler, and the fans aren't having it, Jeff. She's like, doom, doom, Scarlett Scheffler, and they're just not giving her anything back. It was so cringe from the Americans. Honestly, they got what they deserved.
Well, the Americans, they didn't want to chant in support of their own side, a lot of them, and it's not all,
Yeah.
you know, all they wanted to do was to abuse the Europeans and cheer when the Europeans, you know, missed a putt or whatever. But despite all that, the Ryder Cup is coming
Lovely.
back to Europe. A brilliant win for the boys out there in New York. Let's hear from you this morning, though. Where does it rank in terms of sporting achievements? Was the abuse from the crowd a tough watch on Saturday? As a golf fan, I found it really hard to watch that, I have to tell you. 03717223344. Do give us a call. Up next, let's turn our attention to football. Did Arsenal come of age away at Newcastle yesterday? Very good morning to you. 20 past 6. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, and Gabby Agbonlahor. I've got a text in from George who's saying what we're all wanting to know at the moment. You know, was the Ryder Cup? It was an amazing weekend in the Premier League and the EFL as well. But what we all want to know, and George says he's a member of the Mjolby Ultras, we need our Monday morning update on our Swedish league leaders, Mjolby. This is the village in Sweden, 1,000 inhabitants. They're on the brink of winning their first ever top division title. And here, George, is the news. Are you ready, George? Mjolby, 11 points clear with 5 games left. They won 1-0 at IFBP at the weekend, despite playing the last 40 minutes with 10 men. That is true Mjolby class. And better still, their nearest rivals, Hammarby, lost 1-0 at Halmstads. So, 11 points clear, 5 games left. Their first ever title is beckoning. It's within grasp. It's not just in one hand, it's almost in 2 hands. And, you know, Koisty and I goes, we are desperate to go to Mjolby for the game where they clinched the title.
Do the show out there, Jeff.
Oh.
Why not? Why not?
We could interview everybody from Mjolby, I would think, in the time that we're on, if there are only 1,000 of them. Brilliant weekend for them, and, of course, for us golf fans. Now, let's take a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
The Back Page Review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Got a side hustle as a Pilates instructor? Stretch your budget with business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big 3 networks. For verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
Connor's just texted with the same thing as well. Let us know the Mjolby result, for goodness sake. Thank you, Connor. And Dan in St Andrews said the abuse at the Ryder Cup was so annoying. We should hold the next home Ryder Cup at Millwall. Thank you, Dan. I'm sure Millwall fans won't enjoy the inference there, but we do get it. Hi, Olivia.
Hello,
Good morning.
okay?
Yeah, good.
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. All right. All over...
Right, sorry. You're only all right. This couldn't be anything to do with being a Chelsea fan.
No, it's got nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with the Chelsea
nothing
fan.
at all.
Nothing to do with the fact that, you know, you've now lost your last couple of games. You've considered 11 in 5. You're chaotic. Chaotic at the back.
Do you know, it's not, we're going to do this later, Jeff. There's no time. There's no time to talk about
Only
it.
1
4 hours.
One win in your last 5 games against
You
Liverpool.
can't talk. You've won your first Premier League game of the season.
We haven't spent $1 billion.
No, listen, it was another... My issue is, red cards in consecutive games is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Decision-making is... But also, like, Jeff, didn't you just read out a team went down to 10 men, played 40 minutes with 10 men and actually still came out...
That's the great... It's not just 80.
It's the great...
It's Mjolby.
So there is proof, and I've seen it as a Chelsea fan, go down to 10 men, you win games. You go down to 10 men, you draw games. So I do not think Enzo Maresca's decisions in-game have helped. However, I think there are far more issues than just the manager. But we will get into that in more detail.
Including, well, let's just touch on one of those things, is, and I'm not blaming Maresca for this, the recruitment is abysmal. By every winger in the world, by Gittins, by Garnacho, by Estevao, everybody could see that the centre halves, the central defence that Chelsea had, were not good enough. That applies to the keeper as well. I know he's not had a desperately bad start to the season, and yet they did nothing about that.
It's okay, though. They've won the biggest trophy ever, Club World Cup.
I mean,
Mickey Mouse
it's
Cup.
not the Mickey Mouse Cup.
It is.
No,
Where was Liverpool?
Okay, but it's not my fault.
Where were Barcelona?
Okay, it's not my fault that Liverpool had 4 years
Where
to
were
get
Arsenal?
into the Club World Cup, right? It's done on how good you are in European competition, Gabby. So how about Liverpool and Arsenal do better in Europe and they will be in those competitions, yeah?
I don't know. Let's see Champions League.
Anyway, right, we're not here to talk about
Let's get this straight. Chelsea got back into the World Club Championship, or whatever you want to call it now, because of their performances a couple of years before, wasn't it? When it was it was more of a Mickey Mouse competition than it is now. And I'm sorry, Chelsea fans, but it is.
Yes.
Listen, we won the Champions League. That's how we got into it. So we'll absolutely take that.
And your issue is going to be because you did get it, you did win it, and you played brilliantly, by the way, in the final, absolutely fantastically, is you are going to suffer injury after injury after injury because the players have had no break.
Yeah, I mean...
3 in a row for Brighton against Chelsea as well?
We beat them 4-0, didn't we?
3 in a row.
Cole Palmer scored 4 in the first half against them last season.
Come straight from Brighton's social media.
How good.
Wait, am I thinking... Oh, no, do you know why it is?
Oh.
Because we played them in the league. Yeah, we played them in the FA Cup and they did beat us. Yeah, we actually played them in the FA Cup and then the league in the space of 4 days.
You
and
should
they
buy
beat us
more of
in
their
both.
players.
I'm happy with a few of them. I'm not quite sure why we're just trying to buy all of their players.
How good is Danny Welbeck?
Oh, yes.
I mean, what a joy.
Oh.
Yes.
What a joy.
Mr. Reliable.
Lovely man as well.
Yeah,
and
really
lovely man. And he loves a goal against Chelsea. So cheers for that, Danny Welbeck. I feel like we should maybe get into the back
Oh,
page
yeah.
a little
Yes,
bit
okay.
whilst we're here. Shane the Saviour. Larry holds off dramatic US comeback to retain Ryder Cup. Were you a little bit nervous at any point watching that, Jeff?
No.
Or were you
No.
okay?
No.
No.
And the back page of the Mirror, few beauty. Larry holds his nerve to get Europe over the line.
His celebration was iconic.
Yes.
Love it.
Emotions.
We'll be seeing that celebration
Yeah.
for years and years and years.
Yes, we will. And do you know what? After just how the Americans acted and how the fans acted, it just felt a little extra sweet that we did that in New York. It was brilliant. However, obviously the Ryder Cup is dominating the back pages, but so is Arsenal's late winner. It's the lift of the Gab. Late winner shows Gunners learning lessons. And I actually, I look back to this game last season and I think Arsenal would have lost this game last season. And I think that's the difference. And do you know what? Fair play to Mikel Arteta and those players, because I felt like at one point the game was getting away from them. I thought they were getting a little bit emotional when Voldemar scored, Gabriel trying to punch him in the face, whatever that was.
Don't get me started.
Right, and I actually think Gabriel got away with one there. Also, Nick Voldemar just seems like the sweetest man on the planet. Came out after the game speaking about him, I was like, I don't want to get involved in stuff like that.
But if he goes down, he's 100% going to the VAR and a red card.
Did VAR even look at it?
I don't think they did. Did they have to go back and look at that and say, you can't just go and punch someone in the face?
He actually closed fist.
Yeah.
Like, he went with one hand and closed fist the other. I do think they got away with one. However, to come out in the second half and play the way they did, and they learnt their lesson. They got criticised after scoring late against Man City, not running back. They did it this time.
They did.
And they got the winner. And Gabriel, again, he's just an absolute monster in both boxes.
But shouldn't they? If you look at the bench,
yeah.
I mean, if you don't have to read their bench out. Outstanding options. Marino coming on, Odegaard coming on and slipping balls
But it
through.
was their approach, Gabby. They were much more expansive. 20 attempts on goal, which was absolutely brilliant. But, and I thought, personally, I thought they should have got a penalty, when Joplin has gone down.
Yeah.
Nick Pope's got a touch, but his follow-through has wiped him out.
Yeah.
If that happens outside the box, it's a free kick all day long.
Definite penalty.
I agree, and I think that sets like a dangerous precedent in a way, because it's almost like goalkeepers get different treatment. It's okay if goalkeepers get a nick on the ball but take a player out, but if an outfield player does it, your follow-through is a lot of the reason why players get sent off these days.
It really is.
Let's be honest, though. Look at so many decisions. We'll come up to it later, won't we, Jeff? But I'm an Aston Villa fan. It's a penalty on King.
Do you think
it's a penalty? It is
100%.
It is, because it was the opposite way. I'd be fuming. He knocks it past Martinez, and Martinez sweeps his left foot, and he goes over. It's a penalty.
I actually looked at that. So I watched that on Match of the Day, and I came to the conclusion, I don't know if this is wrong, but it looks like Josh King's going down before Martinez.
No,
I know
it wasn't.
Martinez touched it. I know.
Sometimes
he's knocked the ball He's knocked
Yeah.
the ball one side of him. And to be honest, actually, it hardly matters if his legs are both taken away from him by Martinez.
In that position,
Clear
sometimes
contact.
when you're stretching for the ball, you're off balance as
Yeah,
a
a
player.
little bit.
I've been there, and you're trying to stretch, and you're nearly going down an accident.
What about the Gabriel handball?
Oh, that's a tough one, because he does deflect.
Yeah.
But do you slide tackle like that with your arm up there waving?
See, that is the exception to the rule. Now, we looked at the rules earlier on Early Breakfast, and just, it says if it deflects off a foot, that it's not always given as handball.
Yeah.
However, an exception is if you're making your body unnaturally bigger, and that is an exception, I think. I think you can understand sliding with your hand on the floor to have your balance, but you don't slide
don't put your arm
with
in
your
the
arm
air.
up in the air like
No.
that. So
I
I think both of them probably
I think
were
it's
penalties.
it's a really difficult call. The most obvious. I'm sorry to bring this back around to Chelsea. Not really. The most obviously most obvious penalty not given at the weekend was when Malo Gusto kicked the head off the shoulders of Jakube Minte.
I thought his head had come off.
Yeah.
I could not believe it.
VAR said there's not clear enough evidence of contact. Well, they should have looked at Minte walking the 10 yards to pick his head back up after Gusto had kicked it off. I mean, it was honestly
I've got no argument, guys. I could not believe. I was driving, so I was listening to that on the radio, and when I saw it, I could not believe that wasn't given as a penalty.
Seriously. And we sit here and laugh about it. and rightly so. But any credibility that referees and VAR had disappeared this week. And Howard, sort it out, because this is not good enough. It's an absolute shambles, and we saw it 5 or 6 times in the Premier League this weekend. Not good enough. Thanks, Olivia. That was a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
The Back Page Review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Got a side hustle as a Pilates instructor? Stretch your budget with business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big 3 networks. For verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
For every good signing a club makes, there's bound to be a few that don't work out. And Man United have certainly had their fair share of those, especially since the end of their golden age under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here are just some of the Red Devils' worst signings since Fergie. First up, Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez joined United from Arsenal back in 2018 and became the highest paid player in the Prem. He'd averaged almost 1 goal every 2 games for the Gunners, but in his 45 games for Man United, he only managed 5 goals. Not what you want from a star striker. Next up, Radamel Falcao. He earned himself the nickname the Tiger for his sheer efficiency and the way he used to pounce upon the mistakes of defenders. But at Man United, he was way more pussycat than Tiger, to be honest. All he managed in 29 Man United games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone much worse for Jadon Sancho at Man United. Yeah, it would have been hard to outdo his Borussia Dortmund form, but 12 goals in 83 games is not great. Things got worse after a public fallout with manager Erik ten Hag. Sancho said he was being made a scapegoat. Ten Hag said there'd been a discipline issue. It all ended up with Sancho going back to Germany. Next, Erik ten Hag probably thought he was being smart in sticking to what he knew when he signed Antony from his former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian hasn't really been able to hack it in the Prem. Chances are Antony's Man United days are numbered. Next, the curse of the Man United number 7 shirt. Not an easy act following Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and George Best.
Very good morning to you. Yeah, Bart from the grounds of Windsor. Good morning, officer. Have you met my Dublins?
Yeah, just 150 acres. Yeah. Why not make it 300?
This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby Agbonlahor, our good friends at Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Just a quick word for Martin, the Stags fan. Mansfield, that is. He's at home. He says he's a bit miserable at the moment. He's got his cast on a ruptured Achilles. Sounds painful, Martin. But he says, cheering up listening to you, Per. And Martin, by the way, your gaffer, Nigel Clough's on at about 8:45 this morning.
Jeff, I've done that.
Horrible
injury.
Now, it's been a troublesome start to the season for Villa on the pitch, but even worse off it, Villa fans are outraged at ticket prices. Fans are actually paying more for their tickets when buying in advance than those buying on resale sites. Thousands of empty seats left empty for the game against Bologna last week because of high ticket prices. Just to put that in perspective, by the way, attendance against Bologna, 30,909. There were more than 40,000 there for the game against Fulham. A Villa fan and broadcaster Dan Bardell joined the show on Friday. He explained the problem with ticket prices.
Not really, because I think the prices are too high. If I'm being honest, I think they were probably too high in the Champions League last year. But people obviously wanted to experience that because it's rare that we've been in the Champions League. It was the first time in that iteration of the trophy that we'd been in that competition. So people made the extra effort and probably found the money. But I think for the Europa League, people are going to have to pick and choose games. And if you wait, you can get the tickets for half price off third party websites. So I think. I think Villa might have to look at the pricing. Yeah,
well, they can get them at a cheaper price, obviously, because they haven't sold.
Yes.
So then, the resale value is cheaper. But it's the same story with Chelsea. The Chelsea Supporters Trust upset about their concern over the club's handling of ticket sales for the game against Benfica, Jose Mourinho returning to Stamford Bridge. And, of course, Tottenham, in their opening Champions League game against Villarreal, there was something like 8,000 empty seats because we are led to believe of the ticket pricing. Gabby, it just struck me. Remember when it was COVID and there were no crowds and everybody said, football's nothing without the fans?
Yes.
Well, we seem to have forgotten that pretty quickly.
I think the problem, if I talk about the Aston Villa situation, was last season, Jeff, it's a Champions League, not playing in the Champions League since, 1983, 1984. So fans found the money. If that's pulling it on credit cards, if that's like going in your overdraft to try and get to Champions League games, if that's paying corporate prices because you don't know when your team can play in the Champions League again, spoiled. This season, not a very good summer at Aston Villa. Players leaving, problems with PSR, start the season off really poorly, and it's the Europa League, not the Champions League. You've been spoiled with Champions League football. You can't blame fans when money's tight. It's expensive to stay still in life. Never mind, enjoy a treat. So no offence to Aston Villa versus Bologna, but the pricing of the tickets, fans aren't going to pay it. They're going to pick and choose. All right, I'm going to go to that game maybe, or you know what, I'd rather go on Sunday at home to Fulham. Like you said, the attendance was 10,000 more on Sunday. So I do not blame fans, and maybe the club have to look at it because maybe you'll get more fans now waiting to get tickets last minute.
Yeah, I mean, I read that the cheapest Europa League ticket for non-season ticket holders this season is £77. Now, if you add to that the cost of actually getting to the games, it's humongous, isn't it? Surely clubs want to have their grounds packed to the rafters on special European
nights. Of course, make the tickets right. And the way I spoke about it there, I'll probably be in trouble again because Last season, Jeff, I complained about the Champions League pricing of tickets, and someone at the club, who's not there anymore, banned me from working for Aston Villa. Didn't invite me to the 150th anniversary at Aston Villa after all I've done for the club, because
not at all petty, that,
because on here I complained, speaking for the fans, of £90, £95 for Champions League tickets. I was punished by someone at the club that's not there anymore. So, but I don't care about that. I'll speak for the fans on here and say, listen, tickets have to be put down, prices are too high, and life is tough for people. I went to every Aston Villa away game in the Champions League last season, speaking to fans at local spots in the cities. Gabby, I can't afford to be here. I shouldn't be here, but I'm here because my club's playing in the Champions League. I found the money that I shouldn't be spending. So you've been spoiled with that. You're not going to go then to maybe the Europa League and think, oh, I'm going to spend that extra £200 for me and my son to go to the game that I haven't got. Fans aren't going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, at Stamford Bridge, I think one of the issues with the Chelsea-Benfica game is that, ticket prices are higher than they were for the Conference League. That's understandable, isn't it? Just the same as Villas are lower than they were for the Champions League. But concessions have been removed in certain parts of the ground, which strikes me as pretty unacceptable. If you want to be devil's advocate, you could say, well, what else do you get for that sort of money? Can you get into an Oasis gig for that price? Not so sure. If you want to go to the theatre, and I picked a Thursday night, I looked at The Lion King. Thursday night, middle level ticket is going to cost you between £60 and £80. If you're in the stalls, it's a three-figure fee. If you go out for a meal, how much does that cost?
Of course.
Per person?
But it's not like twice a week, is it? Sometimes 3 games a week. And I look at Aston Villa, though, as a club. They're looking at it, Jeff, as like, we've got to put the ticket to this price because of revenue. We need all the help we can get. We need money from every angle we can get to keep improving the squad. So I can see from a club's point of view, but then a fan will say, well, your wages are one of the highest in the Premier League to your revenue, what you bring in. Okay, how can you pay a lot of the players over £120,000 a week, and then we're earning normal wages? How can we afford to go and buy these expensive tickets?
And the supporters are invested in their clubs. They feel they have to be there. And by the way, while we're having a bit of a rant about how badly they are treated, what about the number of Saturday night 8 o'clock games? Now, for me, there shouldn't be any.
No.
I can't have it. Spurs against Wolves at the weekend, okay? The last train back to Wolverhampton from Euston was at 9:42, so Wolves fans can't get that.
Probably cancelled anyway.
Brentford against, and that's without the prices of the trains. Brentford against Liverpool, still to come in October. The last train back to Merseyside, 8:31.
Wow.
Leeds against West Ham is a Monday night. It's not just the Premier League. Middlesbrough against Ipswich, October the 17th, is a Friday night game. You try getting from Teesside to Ipswich. It's crazy.
And even if some of them games you're talking about as well, all the best getting a seat on those trains.
But
and the prices, they'll put them up because it's a busy train as well.
You know what it says to me? We've got football on a Saturday night as well now. Let's focus on that. It says to me that we are pandering to armchair fans at the expense of those who go and follow their
There shouldn't
team,
be a game at 8
which
PM.
seems really unfair.
There shouldn't, Jeff. Like fans are going to keep going to games, of course they are, but it's a pain. Wolves fans would have had to get coaches to drive on Saturday night. And also, can we just 5:30 kickoff's enough, Jeff? 8 o'clock. Can we just watch a film or a documentary, or maybe someone dancing on the TV? Something different at 8 PM. We don't need all that football on.
So if you're a travelling football fan, you've got the worst kickoff times. You have crazy prices to try and get into the ground. Crazy prices to get there. You know what? The away fans get the worst seats. We saw it at St James's Park with the Arsenal fans at the weekend. They can be made to wait in the stadium after matches. Lower down the leagues, they'll be put in an uncovered stand or a corner of the ground with no bar and no catering. And you know what? We'll keep going. By and large, anyway. Lots of texts flying in at the moment. For instance, Jordan says, how come there's talk of every controversy other than the blatant handball by Salah? Jordan, we will move on to that a little bit later, but you're right. Another one, morning, guys, have you spoken about the potential penalties in the Fulham game? Yet we will do so.
It was a penalty.
I mean, not so much, not the handball, I don't think. but Josh King, really rough. And Jim's just said, I had to pay £200 to go and watch the drivel that Manchester United put on. I'm going to the Sunderland game this Saturday because my son has been at me for ages to take him. I wanted to take him for a while, but not wanted to pay that much money just for one game. But I've finally been bullied. But £200, that is ridiculous. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, and Gabby Agbonlahor. Our good friends at Arnold Clark get £750 off any used car or home charges. 6:45.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
Oh, there we are. Didn't expect it to come back to me so shortly. Let's see about what's coming up on Breakfast, shall we, this morning? Into the Ryder Cup with some amazing guests. Former world number 1 and 7-time Ryder Cup winner Lee Westwood will join us, as well as Masters winner in 2016 Ryder Cup player Danny Willett. After the defeat, talkSPORT's Rupert Bell caught up with some American fans.
What a day. Miracle. Well, it wasn't a miracle.
Almost a miracle. It was very close to a miracle.
I had my doubts early on, but there was a surge, and there was a change of the tides, and we had a glimmer of hope, and we were riding that wave, man. I thought we were going to do it.
It was really exciting. We're glad we came back and made it close. It was a very competitive day. It was really exciting.
Hey, well done, Rupert. Found a couple of sounded remotely intelligent. Golf fans, get involved. 03717 223344, the number you need. How special is that achievement of winning at Bethpage Black? Did the American fans go too far? We know the answer to that. Get in touch and let us hear your views. That was a look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
A very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. It's 6:51, Monday, September the 29th. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor's with me. We've been talking about whether fans are not being considered enough. Mark is a Manchester City fan. He's given us a call. Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Mark.
Morning, boys. You all right?
All right,
yeah, mate. Yes.
How are you?
Yeah, sound. Listen, I just wanted to say, right, people have been laughing at us for ages, say, oh, you can't even fill your ground for the Champions League game. Listen, 70 quid on a Saturday, 50 quid on a Wednesday, and then another 70 quid on a Sunday, pretty much every week. I just can't afford it. I literally have to pick and choose my games now, and then that's not even including your trips to Wembley. We've been to Wembley the last 15 years at least once a season, normally twice. I think we've been to Wembley 25 times since 2011. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Do you feel, Mark, that football fans come last, you know, in the minds of the clubs and the authorities?
100%, Jeff. 100%. I hate to say it, but at my club now, they want tourists who are going to go in the gift shop and spend 300 quid. If you're a supporter like me, you just turn up on a Saturday, watch the game, have a couple of pints, and then go home. They're not really bothered about you.
Mark, the problem for me as well is that what if you've got a family of four, and you all want to go to a game? You know the prices that they're charging now, and games that are on TV. That's what a lot of fans will say. You know what? I could save £250 here if I just watch it on TV, get a nice takeaway. So you can't blame fans for not turning up to every single game.
100%, Gabby. Listen, I've got two sons, and when I used to take them down to Wembley, you're talking, obviously, you're staying overnight, you're looking 700-800 quid to go and watch a game of football.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy.
And then you've got to do it all again on the Wednesday night.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mark. Thanks for the call, mate. He's gone. But you make a point that a lot of football fans would make. Just quickly, Guy in Worcester says, morning, Jeff and Gabby. Did I miss you talking about Leeds against Bournemouth? Guy, we've only been on the air for less than an hour.
Yes, Semenyo scored a great free kick. What a player.
What a strike that was, by the way. But I would say, obviously, he's talking about the positives. He said Jeff couldn't see it. I was wondering if you can see positives for Leeds now. Well, what I can see, 100%. Guy, you're right. 19 attempts they had against Bournemouth. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he could have had a hat-trick in the first half.
Hey, that's a good result, drawing to Bournemouth, by the way.
Bournemouth are a good side. But I will say one thing, that 19 attempts, Dominic Calvert-Lewin could have had a hat-trick. Still see the issue is putting the ball in the back of the net. But will you stay up? In my
every
opinion,
chance.
Yes, absolutely. And Sunderland, who we'll talk about later, my word, what a start they have.
Fear no one, did they?
Fear no one.
Fear no one.
Fifth in the table at the moment. Crystal Palace, of course, we should sing their praises. The only unbeaten side left in the Premier League, beating Liverpool at the weekend. After the game, Liverpool boss Arne Slot had a bit to say about styles of play.
The game of football, especially in England, has changed almost to a set-piece game. I was watching on the way up Brentford against Man United, and it's every ball that goes out in the half of the opponent is a long throw-in at the moment. So you have to defend a lot of set-pieces as well. And if you then concede two, that's always too much. But again, they could have scored from open play as well, because they had enough chances for that. But conceding two set pieces is too much in a Premier League game.
I think we'll talk about Liverpool a bit later on, but I just want to focus on Palace, Gabby. Yes. Look, they could have been 4 or 5 up at half-time. They were breathtakingly good.
Jeff, I noticed it, obviously, last season, but going to the Villa game and working on the co-coms, Villa versus Palace losing 3-0. Jeff, they don't give the attackers an inch. 3 centre-halves, so organised. At all times, there's 2v1 all across the pitch. That's a team who know how to use the 3-4-3 formation. Mateta, Sarr, flying forward. Pino, new signing, very good player. And Nketiah coming off the bench. They don't scare anyone. That's why they're 18 unbeaten. You know, winning the FA Cup, winning the Community Shield. So you've got to give the manager a lot of credit and the players that are playing under their skin.
By the way, how did the Liverpool goal stand? When Mo Salah's got his arms up there. You know, the VAR, Matt Donoghue said there was no conclusive evidence that he'd handled the ball. Well, if they'd had a look at the ball, they'd have found Salah's fingerprints all over it.
But this is what we've spoken about earlier. Like, they don't know what they're doing. I've said it a million times and everyone laughs. Get some of the ex-players in, to help with VAR. It's an obvious handball, goal disallowed. We'll come on to it later, won't we, Jeff? With so many decisions that were wrong. You've named about 4 before I even walked in the studio.
I mean, look, as far as Palace is concerned, this is no fluke. They are defensively brilliant. I love Munoz, I love Wharton, I love Mateta. Sarr has been fantastic as well. My question for them will be, can they maintain it with the European fixtures coming up? I mean, Palace will believe they can win the Conference League, and I believe they can as well. But I looked at their bench against Liverpool. There are 3 players on that bench who'd not made their league debut.
They're light, aren't they?
A reserve goalkeeper. They had 34-year-old Nathaniel Clyde. My fear for them is the number of fixtures they are liable to have this season because they don't have that depth of squad.
Is your fear as well that there's a lot of talk about Manchester United might come in for Glasner? Glasner, please do not go there. Do not go to that football club. You've got something amazing going on with Crystal Palace. I just don't want him to. Don't do it.
Well, he's a top 3 club in the Premier League.
Yes.
Who win trophies and who are in Europe. Why would he want to move?
Exactly. And his record, Jeff, 33 games won, drawn 23, only lost 15 of his 71 matches in charge. Why would you want to leave? But do the hierarchy at Crystal Palace have to back him? Do they have to back him in January and say, why not? This is a chance for Crystal Palace to go and do something special again this season after last season. Because they fear nobody, Jeff. Most teams against Liverpool at home, you'd be like, let's keep it tight, first 15, 20. They were flying forward. Mateta's shot off the post as well. Should have went in. So, Olivier Glasner, do not leave and go to Manchester United.
It's funny, isn't it, how people see the game differently? And,
what's happened?
And sometimes people have got such tunnel vision. I've got a text here. Say, hi guys, love the show. Regards Mal Augusta's VAR penalty review against Yankuba Minter. There's no way that was a penalty. If a player chooses to run in unsighted from behind a defender who's about to clear the ball out of the box, then sticks his head at waist height, then they take the responsibility for what happens. It wasn't waist height, by the way. It's an anonymous call, text rather, but it wasn't waist height. It was much, much higher than that. I'm sorry, but it's a penalty all day.
Before us in the replay, I could tell Gusto's face.
Yeah,
he was
Gusto knew.
He was like,
he knew.
What have I done?
He knew.
Incredible.
Couple of quick things on ticket prices. Matt says home tickets for Sheffield Wednesday against Queen's Park Rangers, £46. With everything going on at our club at the minute.
Pardon?
Chansiri continues to rip off Honest.
I don't believe you, Jeff.
And that's from Matt. Yeah, well,
I don't believe that. Surely not.
And Nath says, Stoke City doing it right, Jeff. Provided free away travel and no rise in season ticket prices for 13 years. Listen to this, I pay less than £400 for both me and my 13-year-old son. Well, that is fantastic. Well done, Stoke City. In that case, and of course, flying high in the Championship this season.
Yes, doing very well.
Yeah, up next, we'll ask Arsenal fan and content creator Joel Bayer just how important that win in Newcastle could prove to be come May.
turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby, Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Dominic in Wigan says, Jeff, Gabby, my season ticket for Wigan Warriors is £270 for me, my 12-year-old and a 6-year-old. We can have a beer in the stands, go to the fan zone, meet the players before the match for photos. Rugby league has soul, football is soulless. Dominic, thank you very much indeed for that. As you might gather by now, Europe have won the Ryder Cup in New York against Team USA last night. We'll react to that very shortly indeed. We're less than half an hour's time with 7-time Ryder Cup winner, former world number one, Lee Westwood. Danny Willett will also join us later on the show. If you want to have your say, 03717 223344, and you can do so. If you've got a message to the American fans, well, the floor is yours. Get involved. And now, though, what a weekend it was for Arsenal. Let's get a bit more on this, and welcome to the studio, Arsenal fan and broadcaster Joel Bayer. Morning, Joel.
Morning. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah. Look, I know you're going to have been pleased with the result, inevitably. Were you happier with the style of play as well?
I have to say it's probably one of the best performances, if not the best performance we've had this season. And, you know, at one point, I can't help it, you know, being a follower of Arsenal, that I thought, are we going to do it? Like, I'm really just pulling my hair out. I was really like, can we get it over the line? And fortunately, we did. You know, we've got this DM who's not really a DM in Marino. I think he's the best finisher at the club. And I'm just so happy that, you know, he was able to come clutch, and Gabriel making up for his mistake earlier.
I think as well, for me, watching Arsenal yesterday and watching how negative Newcastle were, they were scared of Arsenal. They were scared of Arsenal all game, especially after the goal, the substitutions, the five at the back. Does it show the options as well Arsenal have from the bench now, that they should fear nobody?
100%. I was looking at it the other day, and I genuinely do think, Gabby, we've got the best squad in the league.
We couldn't get on the bench, could he?
Honestly, it's but that's what you want. Those are the problems that you want. And you know what it's been like for us in the last couple of seasons at St. James's Park. It's been horrid for us. So for us to go there and dominate the way we did, nobody can leave that stadium. Nobody can leave that stadium saying that we didn't deserve to win that game.
No, I mean, I think absolutely correct. It could hardly have been a better weekend with Liverpool losing at Palace. 2 points off the top of the table. I just wonder how pivotal a weekend this might turn out to be.
You know what? It's still very early. I know that us Arsenal fans, we're known for being too high and too low at the same time, myself being one of them. But what you want to do is you want to stay touch tight. You want to keep it going, because we know that Liverpool have quality that haven't even performed yet. So you want to stay as close as possible until, you know, April, May, maybe March as well. Then we can start thinking about, okay, we need to supersede them and whatever we need to do. We just need to stay touch tight, because if we had lost, it could have gone from 5 points to 8 points very quickly.
You know what's scary as well is when you look at the bench, Kepa, Ben White, Lewis Skelly, Saliba, Marino, Odegaard, Norgard, Dowman, Martinelli, no space for Ranieri. You got to watch it from the stands. Like, does that show as well? If you do not perform, you're off. Eze, for me, is going to start as number 10. Odegaard, you have to work your way back in. That's scary to think, isn't it?
I was saying to Jeff last week, Gabby, it's the perfect place to be. And I can't remember feeling this way since the Invincible days, you know. And even then, I don't know if we had the same type of competition, because our starting 11 was pretty set. Yeah. Right about now, anyone can start, anything can happen. I can only imagine what training is like. For the first time, Gabby, right, I was looking yesterday and I thought, even Saka has something to prove.
Oh, Madueke's, if he wasn't injured, he done it, he's starting.
Yeah, he's on his toes, like, really. Yeah. So for me, it's a fantastic place to be, but we just have to get it over the line. Otherwise, it all means nothing.
Yeah, you see, having said all of that and listed all those fantastic players and the fantastic bench, it means that from Mikel Arteta's point of view, he simply has to win the league this season, doesn't he? And I tell you what, if you look at Liverpool, and Arsenal have got a fantastic squad, Liverpool's squad's not too shabby either.
It's not shabby at all, but I have to say, even though I do agree he has to win the league, I do think it's a bit like, I'm looking at rival fans and pundits and they're saying he has to win the league. Let us do what we're doing, man. We're cooking on the low. You know, we're on gas mark 3. We're not on 5 or 6 yet. So,
do you think, though, you might have a few games without Gabriel after he punched a new German international player in the face? Conor McGregor would have been proud of that.
I know. Look, I don't know. But the reality is, Gabby, the good thing is that mascara, easy.
Yes. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest with you, it's so good, the competition, because I didn't expect Saliba to sign the contract. You've got Gabriel, who is arguably one of the best centre-backs in the world at the moment. And even if he is out, I'm actually confident, because you've got mascara there.
Good, yep.
So look at the options. We can't go wrong.
Yeah, you just need Gyökeres to start scoring now, don't you?
You know what, yeah, I was actually with Troy's opinion. I don't know what your opinion was about him scoring in the big games, but...
Yeah, I agree on that opinion, but I look at him yesterday and I thought it's probably one of his best games, because he was physical, he wasn't getting bullied, he was trying his hardest, and sometimes he doesn't fall through in the box. There were a couple of chances, the one that Dan Burn slid and tackled him, then he sort of kicked it off his own foot when he slipped. Yeah. That was probably a goal on the other day. I think he's a very good striker, but he needs to score in the big games, doesn't he?
So do you reckon he's feeling his way into the Premier League, or do you reckon it's one of those where...
Mate, he's feeling his way in, he's getting used to playing in the Premier League. Look at that tackle, claw of the face from the Shells on Gyökeres. Most of the strikers, beyond the floor, they need ice, they need a sponge on the face. He just Yeah, I'm not bothered. I'm ready for the physical battle of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Anthony says Arsenal fans are deluded. I think this must mean you, Joel. He said Arsenal shouldn't have won. Gabriel should have had a yellow card for simulation or a red for pushing striker in the face. Yeah, well, you know, there are lots of arguments with so many contentious decisions. One thing about Gabriel, by the way, the Newcastle goal, he has got to be stronger.
Yeah.
Got to be stronger. You know?
I don't know what he was doing there. I think he thought that maybe he'll get a bit of contact and, you know, he'll get the right away because he's a defender. But honestly, it just looked absolutely silly. But then again, you look at the mentality. And for us to be able to come back, Gabby, dare I say it, it's the mentality of champions.
No, listen, I totally agree. And what I love was Arteta was on the side saying, 8 minutes, get forward. Maybe last season, take the draw, Newcastle are dangerous. This season, it's like, no, we want to go and win every game.
Last season, you'd probably been 2-3 games ago, mate. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, I agree. That was good to see. But I'm just so glad that we pulled it out of the back.
Yeah, played well, Joel. Played well. Thought they deserved to win on the day. Joel, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, man. See you guys soon.
Thank you, mate. A lot of texts coming in about ticket prices and the way fans are treated at the moment. And I mean, listen to this. Graham from Essex said, me and my wife tried getting tickets for Wrexham against Chelsea along with our 4 sons. £90 a ticket, meaning it would have been £540 plus travel, plus drinks and food. I cannot justify that. My kids are West Ham fans, aged 12, 10, 8 and 6. Surely there'd be some concessions.
Yeah, and I just like we spoke about earlier, Jeff, for like people that have just tuned in, like, you have to think of the fans out here. Like, life is tough. Bills are going up. To stand still in life at the moment, never mind a treat on a weekend of spending £200-300. It's not an option for fans, and especially when some of the teams, Jeff, are putting out absolute dross. Manchester United, they should be letting fans come for free the way they're playing and they're performing. Don't be charging £70-80 a ticket when your team is dreadful.
You must have known what we were going to talk about
Jesus.
next. Andrews against Amorim, who had the better of it the weekend. We'll talk about that in a moment or two. Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby's with me this morning, one of the many European Ryder Cup celebration videos that have been on social media. Come on, boys, do us a favour. You can think of something more imaginative than we are the bloomin' champions. I mean, it's a great track, but you know, come on. Get your fingers out, guys. 15-13 win at Bethpage Black. A sore one for American fans to take. Here's Rupert Bell catching up with some of them afterwards.
What a day. Miracle. Well, it wasn't a miracle. Almost a miracle. It was very close to a miracle.
I had my doubts early on, but there was a surge, and there was a change of the tides, and we had a glimmer of hope, and we were riding that wave, man. I thought we were going to do it.
It was really exciting. We're glad we came back and made it close. It was a very competitive day. It was really exciting. You know, can't complain.
They fought magnificently. I've been living here for 24 years, and that's kind of the fighting spirit that Americans have. So they made an amazing game of it.
We're still Americans, man, and we still love the Euros. All right, we love you guys. Glad you enjoyed it. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, glad they enjoyed it, but not as much as we enjoyed it. It's 21 minutes past 7. Just a quick mention, by the way, Shovels, the Jolly Jambos, texted and said Hearts were brilliant again on Saturday. Derek McGuinness has the team and supporters believing anything is possible. No matter what, we're all enjoying it. We spoke to Derek last week. Hearts fans getting a bit carried away? Well, why not? Why not? This is a window of opportunity, isn't it, with Celtic and Rangers struggling 100%. As much as they are. By the way, just mention with the golf, Lee Westwood is with us just after 7:30. Danny Willett's on the show a bit later on. But right now, Olivia's back with us. Hi, Olivia.
Hello. Yes, we are going to talk about another difficult day for Manchester United. I'm sure their fans won't be happy with a couple of the decisions in that game, especially perhaps not to send off Nathan Collins. It was route one at times for Keith Andrews' side. That first Igor Thiago goal. I mean, it was a lovely ball from Jordan Henderson, but Man United, how they just didn't deal with a long ball. And actually, Ruben Amorim spoke to talkSPORT after the game and said Brentford's directness was too difficult for his team to deal with.
Struggle because we played the Brentford game. They managed to play their game with the long balls, second balls, some speed in the transitions. We never settled down our game, and we play a different game. If you play the opponent's game, you are in disadvantage. Then we suffered 2 goals with the long balls that we work on that. We managed to score 1. We have the penalty. That is a crucial point. That can happen. We miss the penalty, but the focus point is that we never settle on our game. We never play our game.
Didn't play their game. You know, look, let's first things first. Of course, Nathan Collins should have been sent off. And frankly, the PGMOL explanation that the ball wasn't under control just removes any credibility that they have, because we all know the ball wasn't under control because he was being pulled back and couldn't reach the ball. However, as far as Manchester United are concerned, Gabby, I mean, basically, Ruben Amorim was out-tacticked by a rookie manager.
He was, but I just think as a collective, Manchester United players and the football club, it's acceptable to lose games now. It never used to be like that. When Manchester United lost a game, it was like, whoa, they've lost.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen often. Now, already 3 games out of 6 lost this season. The record of Amorim, 34 points in 33 games. You could sit here for about 20 minutes and name negative stats about Amorim's reign. It was the same with Ten Hag. It was the same before him. There's something wrong with that football club.
But what does that say then? If there's something wrong with Ten Hag, something wrong with Amorim, is it higher up? What is the issue? Or is it just a collective?
I think he's got tunnel vision. You know, people talk about his system. Tunnel vision. But the thing that makes me think he's got tunnel vision, and I mentioned this to you earlier, Gabby, he's changed central defenders in 42 out of 49 games during the game so far. He insists on taking... I mean, you know, Maguire came off for Euro 66 minutes. The previous week, Maguire off for Euro 70 minutes. The week before that, Euro off for Maguire 62 minutes. What happened to a settled back line? Why does he do that?
It's very hard because on a football pitch, strikers, attackers, maybe centre midfielders can come on and influence the game, get into the game straight away. The hardest position to come on and get up to speed of a game, because that's getting centre halves. I've seen Rio Ferdinand say the same. his centre half, and he brings them on like he's bringing on a centre forward to go and win the game. It's 60 minutes or 65. All right, Yarrow, you off, Maguire on, Delete you off, Luke Shaw. It's like he will keep doing it.
Yeah.
He'll hear the noise from outside, but he seems like the most stubborn manager. Change the formation as well. It's not working. I picked the Manchester United team here at 4-3-3. Dalot, Delete, Maguire, Shaw, Ugarte can play as a sitter, Mainu and Fernandez as 2/8s, Conyer off the left and Boomer off the right, Sesko down the middle, Sesko. It's not hard, is it? It's really, really simple, but no, they'd rather have to get rid of me before I change. It's very stubborn.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like this. Sunderland have 11 points. United have 12 points since the start of April, and Sunderland started playing football, Premier League football, in August. That just says it all. But also, talkSPORT understands that Sir Gareth Southgate is an option for United if they do decide to sack Amorim. But there's also reports out there that United are waiting until after November the 1st because it'll save them £12 million.
Well, seriously, I don't believe these. I don't believe them for the simple reason, why would they want? They've just spent £18 million on a goalkeeper who's not going to play. So what's £12 million to them? For me, look, I've been a big supporter of Ruben Amorim right from the start. I've always thought he was going to turn things around. But this can't go on. He's had nearly a calendar year now, and I feel the end is nigh. It will certainly be nigh if they lose against Sunderland in the next game.
Which I actually would back Sunderland to go to Old Trafford and get a result.
100%. It's like we look at stats of Amorim, 33 games, only won 9, drawn 7, lost 17, minus 14 goal difference, only 5 clean sheets. It's got to be done because the players look scared to play for Manchester United. The players look like they're not running for the manager. Bruno Fernandes, the captain, not tracking back on so many occasions on the weekend. They look lost, and a lot of the players look like Manchester United's too big of a club for them. And we keep saying it. It's every season the same thing. New manager comes in, the same thing. Like, it's getting draining now watching Manchester United.
Yeah, and it also says, Sir Gareth Southgate is one of the names that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has apparently spoken to, but the other two potential replacements are Oliver Glasner and Andoni Iraola. Now, if you're Oliver Glasner or Andoni Iraola, are you swapping Palace and Bournemouth for Manchester United right now, even though Manchester United, because they're Manchester United, will always have a pull?
Money
but
talks.
Money talks.
That's the only reason.
So is that the only reason? Not from a footballing perspective.
They're still Manchester United, aren't they? So managers will still go to them.
Would those two, though? Would Glasner and those two in particular? Because look at the jobs that they're both doing right now for their club.
I hope they wouldn't. But will Glasner look at it and say, Gahey nearly went, I've lost Elise, I've lost Eze, we're a selling club. I know.
It looks like they've got better after losing those players.
I hope he wouldn't. I hope Iraola, what he's doing at Bournemouth.
If you can treble your salary, that's a big influence. I mean,
exactly.
That's in footballing terms. Bournemouth are better than Manchester United. Crystal Palace are better than Manchester United. End of story at the moment. We don't know who Jim Ratcliffe's been talking to. Let's be brutally honest. Only Jim Ratcliffe knows who Jim Ratcliffe's been talking to. So, I mean, we shall see. I just think the tenure for Ruben Amorim is probably just about up, even though it could all have been so different. Craig Pawson and Andy Madden. Look, if Ruben Amorim goes next week, Craig Pawson and Andy Madden might be looking at themselves and thinking, should have been a red card, could have changed the whole game.
Could have changed the whole game, but then Bruno still missed the penalty from, that came from...
Look at the delay. The subs. That was clever from Keith Andrews.
I didn't even know that was allowed. I didn't know that you could do, from awarding a penalty and in between taking it, I didn't know you could do subs.
It was incredible, the weight.
I don't think that should be allowed.
No, I agree.
Well, maybe not, but the actual decision itself took sort of 3.5 minutes, and then the substitutions another minute. And of course he should still score.
Yeah.
Of course he should still score. But, I think he's looking fragile. He's looking vulnerable at the moment, and that's clearly played on his mind. And
you see as well, though, Jeff. We spoke about it earlier, Olivia. They don't scare you, Manchester United. When you watch Crystal Palace, similar formation, and you've got Mitchell and Munoz flying forward. You got to sort of look at them as a threat. You look at Dorgu and you look at Dalot as wing-backs. You're like, yeah, it's all right. Let them have it. It's okay. Not going to do anything. You look at the centre halves coming out of it. Luke Shaw. How is he still playing for Manchester United? I mean, DeLitt has been good this season, but he was dreadful on the weekend. So Manchester United just aren't a great team.
Yeah.
They're just not. They don't scare any team in the Premier League.
Yeah. Olivia, thank you very much indeed. Got a couple of tweets here on ticket prices. West Sussex Spurs say, morning, Jeff, I'm a season ticket holder at Tottenham. Didn't go to the Wolves game. For me, it's 2 hours each way. Trains were disrupted. Couldn't face it. Was right as well. And Richard says, at Eastbourne Borough, National League South, it's £18 to watch the bottom of the table side, whose most recent signing comes from county football. Attendances are down from 2,000 to 3,000 to less than 800.
£18
this year. Yeah, 18 quid at National League South.
The game's gone.
I mean, I would say, sort of National League South, National League North level, a lot of attendances are rising because people are becoming disillusioned with football at high level, and not just disillusioned, they simply cannot afford.
And you talk about the Spurs fan there, best decision they've ever made. Spurs were horrendous.
Yeah.
Dreadful. How Wolves didn't win that game, that late Paulinho goal. Spurs were actually disgraced watching them. So you saved a lot of money and saved your time.
Well, he did, but there we go. 8 o'clock Saturday night kickoff. It's not just the away fans who don't want games like that.
Exactly.
Some of the home fans as well.
Not every fan lives around the area, Jeff.
Yeah. Up next, just how below the belt was the abuse Rory McIlroy faced over the weekend. We'll discuss that with 7-time Ryder Cup winner Lee Westwood.
For the first 22 editions, when it was just British and Irish golfers versus the US, America were only beaten 3 times. But in 1979, in came Europe, and in came Seve Ballesteros, who went on to win 5 of them. Since Team Europe became a thing, the head-to-head reads Europe 13, USA 9. Europe's last away win was the miracle at Medina in 2012. America hasn't won on European soil since 1993 at the Belfry. So what about the money? The most recent Ryder Cup in Rome drew in a record 271,000 spectators and boosted the Italian economy by €262 million. The PGA of America TV deal with NBC is worth $440 million, but 2025 will be the first time ever that the US team will receive a fee for playing. Of course, in Rome, legend has it Patrick Cantley refused to wear his cap because he wasn't being paid to wear it, though he insisted it simply didn't fit. Either way, Team Europe have made it clear they're more than happy to keep playing for the thrill, joy and prestige of the Ryder Cup.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby, Agbonlahor and our friends at Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. You're definitely not welcome to New York, didn't matter. Luke Donald's men won 15-13, winning on US soil for the first time since the miracle of Medina in 2012. Let's get more reaction to Europe's win with a man who was a member of the last side to win over in the USA before this one, former world number 1. Good morning to Lee Westwood. Morning, Lee.
Good morning, Lee.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, great, thanks, mate. A bit bleary-eyed. It was a late night and all that, you know. But look, yeah. I mean, a lot of the talk is going to be about the crowd, and we'll probably get on that in a moment or two. But I just have to say, Lee, how brilliant were the boys? You know, Justin Rose at 45, Tyrrell Hatton's putting, absolutely sensational. Tommy, Shane, you can go, Matt Fitzpatrick, you can go through them all. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it was just an all-around great team performance, I think. When you're going away from home like that, you need everybody to play well, but especially your guys that are your backbone of your team, your stalwarts, Rory, Tyrrell, John, people like that. So and they came through and performed. And over the first 2 days, the United States team, those players, their backbone didn't. You know, the United States team always come back hard and fast on the final day, and you know they were a long way behind, so they didn't really have anything to lose. And you know it got a bit nerve-wracking for a while, but yeah, it's a big deficit to come back from. That you know we played so well over the first couple of days. You know, I got a little bit nervous, but I was always fairly confident we were going to pull through.
I want to ask you about Scotty Scheffler, because it's the first time in Ryder Cup history a world number 1 has started with 4 defeats. But then yesterday he come out and beat McIlroy in the singles. Was you surprised at his form in the first 2 days?
I suppose a little bit, but one of the things the United States have struggled with over the last few years is finding partnerships that gel together kind of naturally. You know, I know that it happened with Tiger Woods. They always struggle to find a partner for him, and it looks like, you know, they're struggling to find a partner for Scotty as well. I don't know what the reason for that is. You know, it should be the easiest thing in the world to do. But when you looked at our team, you know, there were obvious partnerships that just jumped out at you, and I think that made Luke's job a lot easier than Keegan's, really.
Yeah, you could see we had some proper teams, didn't we? You know, Rosie and Fleetwood and Rory and Shane. Hatton, Fitzpatrick, so on and so forth. I mean, when we look at Scotty Scheffler and compare and contrast with Tommy Fleetwood, on current form, could you argue that Tommy Fleetwood is the best player in the world?
No, I think Scotty Scheffler is far and away, when it's an individual thing, far and away the best player in the world. That's why he's world number one. You only got to look at the year he had. Tommy's obviously stepped his game up a level, winning the first time in the United States and played brilliant last week. Always seems to play well in the Ryder Cup, the match play format, and he seems to enjoy that and embrace it. But, no, I don't think anybody can hold a candle to Scotty at the moment.
Okay. Lee, the one thing that stood out for me watching over the weekend was the abuse that a lot of the players were getting, European players, especially Lowry and especially McIlroy. There's no place in golf for that, is there? And how difficult would it have been for the players to still go on and perform like they did?
There isn't a place for it, but it's always happened, as long as I've played Ryder Cups, going back to '99, the crowd were pretty toxic in Boston, and you got stuff shouted at you, and your team behind you, and your family and your friends that were walking around and stuff shouted at them. And, I remember Monty, some of his family being spat at, and it just happens, and especially when you get into that part of the world, the northeast of America, they seem to see it as a challenge to be as rude and obnoxious as possible. But you know what you're going into, so you just deal with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we'll show them how to behave in Ireland in 2 years' time. Lee, will Luke Donald be in charge in 2 years?
I don't know. I mean, the players seem to enjoy playing with him, playing for him, and him being around them, and they respond to him well. So, it's not happened for a long time, but he's one of the most obvious candidates. Why break up a winning formula, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, there are going to be huge expectations next time around, especially bearing in mind it's in Ireland. But the one thing that the Americans showed is that no matter how much we might want to write them off, they do have some magnificent players.
Yeah, I mean, they've always been good in singles. They relish the individual format, and the thing with the Ryder Cup is, you've got 16 points to play for the first couple of days, and you put everything into that. But then you've got a massive points all of 12 to go for on the final day. So if they ever do have a good first couple of days, it's always difficult to beat them. That's why we have to do so well in the team format to get a bit of a lead.
Well, long may that continue, Lee. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Lee. Top man.
My pleasure.
Thank you, mate.
By the way, if anybody else at the Ryder Cup wants to shout out, get in the hole. I mean,
don't get me started, Jeff.
Seriously, do they really think that might influence the ball?
Jeff, I woke up last night and I was like, I was having nightmares about it. Get it in the hole.
Yeah.
Get it in the hole. Shut up.
No,
Shut up.
It's just a
button it.
A nightmare. Got a text from somebody, actually. I meant to mention this when we were talking about Liverpool, about Brentford,
yes.
By the way, and players not getting the credit, because we talk about Manchester United, obviously, and Brentford, great for Keith Andrews, but I thought Thiago got the glory. I thought Jordan Henderson was man of the match. I thought he was sensational the way he controlled that game.
And that's the reason, isn't it, where everyone started to not be happy with Thomas Tuchel about including him in England squad, but he sees something still in him, and his performances for Brentford since he's been there have been magnificent. And I thought that pass as well, Jeff. Straight away, I'm playing.
Saw it straight away, brilliant.
Yes, and great finish from Thiago, but I agree. Yeah. Henderson was probably the player of the match.
The text, by the way, was from Vin in Horsham, so thanks for that, Vin. Yeah, we were remiss not to mention Brentford, and I thought particularly Jordan Henderson, who's proven me wrong and proven plenty of other people wrong as well. Great. And long may it continue. Brentford above Manchester United in the table, and they sold Mbeumo, and they sold this, and they sold God, and they have a rookie manager, so that's not too shabby, is it? 9:44, right, still to come on Breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Well, no doubt here that Arsenal are going to cruise the title now when we are joined by Piers Morgan.
Oh, no.
Just, I know.
Unbearable
Just
it's going to be.
yeah. I will get more reaction to Europe's Ryder Cup win with 2016 Masters champion Danny Willett. And that was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Good morning. It is 7:49 Monday morning, September the 29th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby's with me. We're here right through till 10 o'clock. Time right now, though, to take a look at today's top headlines thanks to Movember.
Get ready with Movember on talkSPORT. For the stars is calling. Grow and mow, raise funds, save lives. Sign up now at Movember.com.
Main story, of course, this morning, Europe have won the Ryder Cup 15-13 at Bethpage Black in New York. Winning in the States for the first time since 2012, Captain Luke Donald become just the second ever European captain to win a Ryder Cup at home and away. Of course, he's won 2 on the bounce, and pressure on him to have the job again in Limerick in 2 years' time. Gabriel scored a 96th-minute winner away at Newcastle as Arsenal came from behind. To win 2-1, it puts the Gunners second in the table, and the PGMOL are under scrutiny yet again after more poor decisions over the weekend. Fulham boss Marco Silva was left frustrated, that's an understatement, regarding more penalties which weren't given to his team.
To try to explain to you my vision again is not going to change anything again, because they come with a completely out of the book explanations, trying to convince with things that we cannot see there. You see things that are so clear and so obvious, and they come with explanations that no one believes what they are trying to explain to us. And that is the thing in football now, right? I don't understand the direction they want. What I can say, for me, is clear penalty, the first one, clear penalty. Even if the ball goes in a different direction, when he tried to dribble Martinez, he was tackled by Martinez. Clear was tackled by Martinez. I don't want the referees to try to educate one player that is just 18 years old. We know how to educate him. I have to be even more clear. He has the enough education. It's for me, in 2 weeks, in 2 games, so quick how they gave yellow cards for Josh King in 2 moments inside the box. For me, is almost incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the decision on Josh King, I think, took people's breath away.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not sure, A, how the referee can get it so wrong, B, how the VAR can get it so wrong.
I think it can be difficult for referees, can't it? They're not up to the play. That's why VAR's there, Jeff, to give him a helping hand. For it to go to VAR and still say it's no penalty. I'm an Aston Villa fan, and I'll say it's a penalty. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to be fair, and it is. And Josh King, look about the goal he scored against Chelsea. That was disallowed. When Chalobah got
that was a nonsense.
That was like
a rule.
What a goal for an 18-year-old to have scored. So I agree with Silva.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see, by the way, frustrated. He looked like he was going to explode on the touchline.
Oh, yeah.
And understandably as well. Now, that was our look at today's top headlines, thanks to Movember. Sign up right now at Movember.com.
Get ready with Movember on talkSPORT. Grow moustache, raise funds, save lives, and change the face of men's health. Sign up now at Movember.com.
Now Olivia is back with us talking, West Ham this time?
Yeah, we are. I was just wondering, Gabby, are we still talking about that, Josh? Are we going to keep talking about it for the rest of the season?
Sorry.
No, I'm joking.
I got told whenever you're in on a Monday, if I'm in, just keep talking about Chelsea.
Just keep digging on Chelsea.
Yeah.
No, we are here to talk about West Ham this time. After Graham Potter was, of course, made to do the pre-match press conference ahead of the Everton game, which is obviously live on talkSPORT this evening. In that press conference, he got asked about the whole face swap thing that's going on social media. It seemed to see the funny side of it. However, I want to ask you both what you both thought of the way that West Ham handled that situation, allowing him to do that press conference, knowing fully well that he wasn't going to be in charge for the game tonight.
I didn't like it. I felt it's a bit mugged off, isn't it? Really? Like, you know you want to make a change, make it before the press conference, and then Nuno Santo's right ready to take training. I don't like it. The writing was on the wall last weekend after the defeat, so why not make the change then?
Yeah, well, and that would have given Nuno the entire week, a little more than a week, you know, with the squad. No, it was it lacked. We all knew that Graham Potter was going to be losing his job, and I'm sure he knew it as well. But there are ways to do it.
Yes.
You know, it did lack class. That is for sure. And the thing that shocks me in a way, Gabby, is Nuno was fantastic at Forest. Fantastic. But we heard a lot from West Ham fans when David Moyes was there about the West Ham way. Now, Nuno is not going to play what they perceive as the West Ham way, is he?
Totally agree.
Do you know what's funny? I was actually looking, when David Moyes came in at West Ham, he kept them up in 1920 when no one thought he would. He then finished 6th in 2021, qualified for the Europa League. The following year, got to the Europa League semi-finals and finished 7th in the league, so obviously qualified for the Conference League. We all know what happened the following season, that incredible historic night in Prague. And then the following season, they reached the Europa League quarterfinals and a 9th place finish. Is this a classic case of you only realise what you have once
100%,
it's gone?
100%. You want to play the West Ham way. What is the West Ham way? Your manager, David Moyes, has won your first trophy in years and you wanted him out. Hasn't worked with Lopetegui. Hasn't worked with Graham Potter. Now you've got Nuno Santo who's going to play similar football to David Moyes.
But do you think they care? Like, obviously they want to play the West Ham way, but given how bad they've been, especially defensively this season, surely Nuno coming in, when you look at Forest, one thing they was just defensively solid.
Yes.
So surely West Ham fans will maybe put the West Ham way on the back burner if he can sort their defence out and actually...
I hope so. But I look at the options they've got back there. I mean, Igor Julio got brought in on loan. He needs to start. I don't think Mavropanos is good enough. Tedibo got signed for 36 million.
Kilman.
Yeah, Kilman, I'm not sure. Conceded, 15 goals in 5 games? 13 goals in 5 games. Not good enough defensively. And for 3 centre-halves at times this season, the amount of headers that they lose when there's 3 of them back there to 1 striker is incredible.
Well, they've got a big team. They're not even just got big defenders. They've got big midfielders as well. But they seem to lose aerial duels.
They might be big, but they've got no legs. They can't run. That's one of the big issues there. And Nuno certainly at Forest relied on incredibly athletic players. And he's going to come in and he's going to inherit a squad which, let's be honest, Gabby, it's nowhere near good enough.
Mate. It's not great.
And Graham Potter, he may have his flaws and things, but the recruitment has been the issue. The recruitment has been abysmal.
20 million on a keeper, Hermansen.
Exactly.
He's not even as good as...
Just to bring Fabianski back.
Yeah, it's
well, surely, to goodness, anybody who watched Hermansen last season could see that he was unlikely to be the answer to your questions, whatever those questions were, So the problems are twofold at West Ham for me, the squad and the stadium, because that stadium is massive drawback, drains the life out of it.
I used to hate going to Upton Park as a player. I used to go there, I'm like, I'm going to get all sorts of these fans. They're close to the pitch. It puts you off as a player. It does. Simple as that. Now, can you imagine players going to the Olympic Stadium thinking, like, the fans can't, some of them can't see us.
About a mile away, yeah.
When I've watched games and I've seen some of the pundits where they stand where the fans are, I'm like, can you even see the pitch?
Yeah.
So you lose that atmosphere, the fear factor as well. But where does this leave Graham Potter? Because at Chelsea, and we'll go back to Chelsea as well, but his results weren't great, was they? Lost 11 of his 31 Premier League games. Where does that leave him for his next job?
He may have to go abroad.
I think he will have to go. Do you reckon another Premier League team would take it? Because it is a risk now. It is a risk taking a risk on him.
He's got no aura.
I don't think
so. No, he
me.
doesn't. But he never has. I don't know if he ever will, though.
When I watch him and I'm looking at players not performing, he still stood there like, When I'm looking at, like, Marco Silva, looking at Unai Emery yesterday, he is losing his mind at players. Like, and as a player on the pitch when I played, I'm like, I can't do that. The gaffer's going to be on me. Graham Potter's just stood there. No reaction. Never mind.
Gaz, who's a West Ham fan and season ticket holder, says, typical way for our owners to conduct their business the way they dealt with Graham Potter. No class whatsoever. Olivia, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you.
More Chelsea talk.
Yeah, more Chelsea talk tomorrow, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Something really to look forward to coming up. Piers Morgan.
Oh, God.
He joins us next.
God
We'll ask
help
just
us.
how vital this weekend's Arsenal win while Liverpool were losing could be to the Gunners' title aspirations, even just 6 games in.
Formula One. It's a sport often seen as insular and elitist, but it's seen a meteoric rise under its owners Liberty Media, not only in popularity and viewership, but in the ability to almost print money. From greater access to more races, here's how it happened. For decades, Formula One was owned and run by one man, Bernie Ecclestone. He was old school, someone who thought the sport itself was enough, and there was no need for all this modern marketing and social media nonsense. But in 2016, Ecclestone agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across the social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Morning, 8:05. It is Monday, September the 29th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby, Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. As you may be aware, Europe won the Ryder Cup. Amazing scenes last night. Shane Lowry holding the putt that retained the cup. And of course, Tyrrell Hatton then went on to get the extra half a point, which means that we had won it. However, the American fans have been in the headlines all weekend for all the wrong reasons, repeatedly taking it far too far with, in particular, Rory McIlroy. Rory gave a message to American fans in the team press conference.
With all that in mind, everything you go through, how satisfying is it to turn around to someone and say, quote, shut the F up, and then stiff it to 2 feet?
Very satisfying.
Congratulations.
It wasn't stiff. It wasn't stiff. I had to put it.
Good to hear Rory having the last laugh. There weren't many laughs for him on that final day. He looked very grim-faced, very drained by the whole situation.
Yes.
And now, though, just how big was this late Arsenal winner yesterday?
This might be the last chance of a dramatic late winner in front of the travelling fans, and it's nodded into the near post, and Arsenal may just have snatched the victory in stoppage time. Gabriel up from the back, the corner whipped into the near post, and from point blank range, Gabriel has headed Arsenal in front. Those travelling fans high up celebrate, and how big a 3 points this could be.
Arsenal within 2 points of Liverpool. According to the bookies, they're favourites for the Premier League title.
And they were favourites before kick-off as well.
Were they?
Yep.
Yes, I guess with Liverpool losing at Crystal Palace.
Yes.
Let's find out what Piers Morgan has thought of it all. Huge Arsenal fan, of course. Piers, good morning.
Good morning, Piers.
chaps. Good morning.
So what did you enjoy most at the weekend then, Piers? Arsenal winning in the 96th minute at Newcastle, or Europe winning in the States in the Ryder Cup?
Well, I would also add the England rugby team, women's rugby team, winning the World Cup. It's been an amazing weekend. I think the Ryder Cup, I was listening to what Rory McIlroy had to say there. I don't really agree with him, because it seemed to me from the moment the American morons started abusing him very personally and some of the others, it seemed to massively increase our performance. So I think we should fly those morons over to the next one and just have them hurling abuse at our guys all day long. Because it seemed on the last day, when they stopped hurling abuse and began cheering their own players, we barely won a game. So I'm all for a bit of argy-bargy, because it seemed to fire our guys up. But no, I think the football, I mean, look, I think Arsenal, the reason we're favourites is I think everybody can see that I think indisputably now have the best squad in the Premier League, and that's really important. I looked at our bench yesterday, and our bench had about 7 or 8 top players sitting there, and that's the first time I've seen that really in about 20 years. And I thought, okay, now we have a squad. There are no excuses. Injuries, this, that, the other, it doesn't matter. We have enough top players in every position where injuries should not dictate whether we win the league, as they may have done in previous seasons.
But that just cranks up the pressure even more on Mikel Arteta, doesn't it? When everyone's saying, as they are now, well, Arsenal have got the best squad. So if they don't go on and win this league, every single finger will be pointed at the manager.
Yeah, quite rightly. He spent an absolute fortune. He's now got the squad I think he wants. I think that what I was encouraged by yesterday, after all the jokes about Arsenal taking the handbrake off and Arteta joining in those jokes, actually he took the handbrake off, and guess what? It worked, because my big issue with what happened against Liverpool and Manchester City was we set up not to lose. And we set up very defensively, when in fact we have some of the best attacking players in the country now. I like yesterday starts with Eze. I think Eze should start every game, but also he wasn't afraid with a few minutes left of the game to suddenly put the cavalry on. And I think this is a new Arteta, where he recognises that it's fine setting up not to lose, but if you want to win the league, you've actually got to go and win games. And I think the fact we scored so late, 96th minute, the fact that he changed the way we were playing from a 4 at the back to 3 at the back and flooded the midfield with attacking flair. This is what I want to see from Arteta. He's got to be more attacking minded. He's got to go for these wins. It's not good enough just to not lose against the top teams.
Piers, the winning goal scorer, Gabriel, should he be on the pitch? Because for me, and I think you'll agree, we don't like to see violence on the pitch. And for Gabriel to punch Newcastle's Voltamide, I'm sure you agree he should have been sent off.
Look, that was as much a punch as the one that Jeremy Clarkson landed on my forehead at the British Press Awards in 2004. And let me tell you, after the third time he hit me, I said to Clarkson, is that it? My 3-year-old hits me harder than that. So please, can we please get some analysis about what a punch is? No, look, I think that you're right, though, to draw attention to the fact that there should have been a penalty. It should have been for Arsenal when Gyökeres was absolutely poleaxed. And I've got a real problem with the way that went down there, because every football fan and every football player knows that Pope came out with one intent, and that was just to take Gyökeres down. And the fact he got a tiny little toenail onto the ball does not negate the fact he took him out, and the ball then went off, and Gyökeres was not able to continue with his attacking move. That cannot be right. That should have been a penalty. It shouldn't have been overturned by VAR. VAR is supposed to overturn where there's a clear and obvious discrepancy between the decision by the referee and what they're seeing. But clearly there wasn't. He got a toenail to it, but still took him out and stopped him scoring. That is a penalty.
Do you feel, that there is any thought that maybe Arsenal are still, all these wonderful players, got a lot of talented players, still too reliant on set plays, Piers?
Well, I'd like the fact that we are the best at set plays in the country. If we weren't scoring from set plays, you guys would be going, why do Arsenal never score from set plays? So I think that we've got a brilliant set play system that we clearly train really hard for in our training sessions, and it's working. We score more goals from set plays than any other team by miles. However, what I'm excited by, and it may not be what you guys are seeing quite yet, but I've watched a lot of Gyökeres in the first few games. And although he hasn't scored in the 3 big games, his work rate and his movement is fantastic. I think he's getting used to the Premier League and the hurly-burly and the speed, as all players who come into this league do. But I think when he starts getting proper service, and you could argue that with Saka and Madueke, who sadly got injured quickly, and Eze and Martinelli, we have 4 of the most flair-attacking, quick, dangerous footballers in the league. If they start to service Gyökeres properly, I think you're going to see him becoming an absolute powerhouse in this league.
Would you agree with that, Gabby?
Listen, I think he's getting used to the Premier League, definitely. And yesterday, there was another challenge from the Shells where he sort of grabbed his face, and a lot of strikers would have went down. He didn't. It looks like he's ready for the physical battle as well. And I think he'll need to get up to speed every game he plays and get used to the Premier League.
Yeah, but he's got, you know what he's got? He's got an unbelievable work ethic.
Yes.
And I think if you've got a player who's got that, and he's got the physicality to take on, I mean, you've got to remember, Newcastle are one of the best defences in the league. And he was muscling around with them all game. But I've watched him very closely because I think, is this guy up to it or not? A lot of players come from leagues like the Portugal League and they score buckets of goals and they come and play in the Premier League. It's a different ballgame. I really like him. And I think he's been the missing linchpin. But look at who we've got. Havertz is not even there at the moment. He's injured. Jesus is not there yet. Max Dowman, probably the most exciting 15-year-old in world football, was sitting there not used off the bench.
Wanyeri didn't make the bench, did he, either?
Wanyeri didn't make the bench. Ben White didn't get on. We've probably got 4 or 5 now of the best central defenders, certainly.
If only you could play 16 aside, Piers, you'd be absolutely romping that league.
You know what, though? It is exciting. If you ask me, do I think we can win the league this season? I thought last night in the 96th minute, when we did that, I thought this is a mentality change by both the team, but also crucially the manager. He took the handbrake off. And if Mikel Arteta's listening to this, I'm sure he is. Sure he tunes in like every top manager. If he's listening to this handbrake thing is not a joke. You've got the players now that can terrorise any defence in the world. Let them loose. Let the dogs loose, and we will win the league.
So will you put your neck on the line and say Arsenal will win the league, Piers? We need to hear them words, please, mate.
100%. Arsenal, I've seen enough. Arsenal will win the Premier League. Liverpool are overrated. They've been very lucky so far this season. And by the way, look at the games we've had to play so far in the Premier League, right? Arsenal have had by far the toughest start to the league. And look where we are, sniffing just off the top. You watch the next 3 months. Arsenal, I suspect, will now go on an absolute tear. Big games out the way. We are going to win the league. I wouldn't be surprised if we win it by mid-March.
Well, you've got some big games to come. You've got 3 London derbies in a row in the Premier League. West Ham, Fulham, and Palace.
I thought you said big games.
Yeah, big games, yeah. Well, I tell you what, Piers, I've had a Palace fan already this morning saying, look at the last game of the season, title decider, Palace v Arsenal. There you go.
Yeah, well, we'll have won it by. You can take this to the bank. We'll have won it by then. This is the best Arsenal squad in my memory. And if Arteta unleashes the dogs, the hounds will bring the silverware home.
Brilliant. Okay, Piers.
Thank you, Piers.
Thank you very much indeed, mate.
Cheers, guys. Yeah. Take care.
Mark was a Spurs fan and says, he said, Piers talks so much nonsense. It's unreal.
Unbearable, aren't they, Arsenal fans?
But look, he says, Mark says, him and Martin Keown don't know what objectivity is. Mark, I've got news for you. No football fans know what objectivity is.
I don't.
No, we've all got our own team, and we're all going to absolutely praise them to the hilt when things go wrong and see.
It's looking promising for Arsenal when you've got 2 players for each position, even 3 players at times, Jeff. Wanyeri not making the bench just says everything about the quality of Arsenal's squad.
Yeah. Glyn's in Prague and he's texted, he said, why didn't the US players try and quieten down their own fans? I think in defence of them,
they did.
A number did, particularly Justin Thomas, who I thought his behaviour during the course of the whole 3 days was absolutely exemplary. He constantly tried to quieten the fans down. I don't think you can point the finger at the players.
No.
Well, not most of them. We all know who the exception is. Latest odds with Coral is next. Good morning, it is 8:21. It's Monday, September the 29th. Hope you're having a good day so far. Piers Morgan, he always gets the texts and the phone lines lighting up, that's for sure. Josh says, goodness me, Piers doesn't half waffle on. Settle down. You're still second, which maybe is a point that he overlooked. Clark is a Chelsea fan, says, what time is the bus parade for Arsenal beating Newcastle? And Paul, on a different topic, says, morning, lads. What a weekend. The red and white Wizards doing the business on the road against Nottingham Forest, Europe winning the Ryder Cup, and the Geordies getting pipped in the last minute of the match. All smiles this Monday morning, says Paul, who you won't need me to tell you is from Sunderland. Great win, of course, in the Ryder Cup for Europe. There were quite a few moments when we were all a bit concerned, weren't we, about whether it was going to go the way that we wanted it to, but it did in the end, 15 points to 13. We did the business. Second successive victory for Luke Donald, and away from home in New York in front of all those hordes of abusive American fans. talkSPORT's Rupert Bell caught up with some American fans following last night's win for Europe.
What a day. Miracle. Well, it wasn't a miracle. Almost a miracle. It was very close to a miracle.
I had my doubts early on, but there was a surge, and there was a change of the tides, and we had a glimmer of hope, and we were riding that wave, man. I thought we were going to do it.
It was really exciting. We're glad we came back and made it close. It was a very competitive day. It was really exciting.
Yeah, we found it exciting as well.
Yes, enjoyable.
Yeah, it was ultra enjoyable. If you've got a view on the Ryder Cup and the American fans, or more particularly, I think, the performance of the European team, get in touch. 03717 223344. Right now, it's time for the latest doors with Coral and Dave.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Steve-O, I told you that Europe were a big price.
Good morning,
Jeff,
Steve-O.
good morning. Gab, good morning. Yeah, look, what a final day of the Ryder Cup. I spoke to Shaban and Cash yesterday morning, and at that point, Europe were 100 to 1 on to win it. USA were 40 to 1. The tie was 40 to 1. This is how close it got. USA got down to as short as 9 to 2 in running. The tie became 3 to 1 in running, so a real possibility. But the writing, it was... Yesterday morning when I spoke to them, Europe only had 3 favourites in the singles. Fleetwood, Rahm and Hatton were the only, and none of them actually won. So it had the potential to be tense, but it was far more tense than we all thought. But it doesn't matter because it's first to 14.5 wins it, and that's what Europe.
I think Alan had Europe, didn't he, before they kicked off?
I think the only talkSPORT presenter I know back to USA was Ray the Traitor Parler. So Ray, if you're listening, hang your head in shame. 2 years' time, Adair Manor, the wonderful golf course in Southern Ireland, owned by JP McManus. So Will Tiger Woods, JP's great friend, captain the USA, 2 to 1 America, Europe 8 to 13 to win it for a third time. So it never fails actually to deliver the Ryder Cup, does it?
It never fails. I'll tell you one thing for sure, Steve. Keegan Bradley won't be captaining them. Just before we talk
playing, but
maybe he should have been playing this time round. Before we talk Premier League, your lot, Portsmouth, they lost at Ipswich 2-1. John Massini came up with one of the great quotes afterwards. He said, they spent more on one substitute than we have on our whole squad. And by the way, he wasn't being bitter. He was very fulsome in his praise, but he just goes to show you the imbalance there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Of course it does, and any Portsmouth fan will know that's what we are missing. We are missing that sort of investment. Look, there's no shame. Ipswich are favourites to win the championship. Marlon Pack with a late goal, gave the scoreline a bit of respectability, but no shame in that. But another tough weekend for us.
Steve, I don't want to know the title odds because I know they're going to be Arsenal and they're unbearable, their fan base. So can we get relegation odds, please?
No, we've got to touch on the title. Look, James, you already said it. Arsenal are favourites again. But, I mean, it was a weekend of a 97th minute goal at Selhurst Park and a 96th minute goal at St James's Park. Have seen this turnaround. Arsenal 5-4, Liverpool 7-4, Manchester City 9-2. Forget the rest in terms of the title. I want to focus on Crystal Palace, by the way.
Yes.
The only unbeaten side left in there. OK, they're 80 to 1 for the title. Probably unlikely. They're 7 to 1 for a top 4 finish. That's possible, isn't it? Given the form they're in,
of course.
Or am I dreaming on behalf of Palace fans, Gab?
Steve, I think you're dreaming. And Palace fans, forgive me. I'm a big fan in every respect, because there was a bit of a relationship with Hartlepool and Palace apart from anything else. So big fan. Just their squad and the fact they have European football as well. If they go deep into the Conference League, and I think they will, their squad's not deep enough to cope with league games as well. In my opinion, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, but they have the potential to do what Forest did last year, didn't they? Which is be there or thereabouts, top 6, 7 to 4. But what I say, I think we have to acknowledge the job that Glasner is doing there. Gab, you did mention down the bottom, you'll be pleased to know that Aston Villa have eased in the relegation betting after that win.
I'm looking up. I'm looking up, mate. I was thinking more about Wolverhampton Wanderers, teams like that,
Well, Burnley are 1 to 3. Another tough weekend for Scott Parker's men. Of the 3 promoted teams, they are clearly the ones in the most trouble. Then it is Wolves 1 to 2. Gab. Ooh. West Ham with the managerial change 11 to 8. Sunderland 7 to 4. Leeds 11 to 4.
It's hard to pick, isn't it, down there, Jeff, Steve-O? I mean, Burnley, I do think will do, but Leeds and Sunderland, the fight's on, isn't it?
Started brilliantly, haven't they?
Yeah, Sunderland have been outstanding.
Yeah. Well, usually, as we say, some of the lesser sides in the division will look at the promoted teams. They think, we'll be okay because they're going to go straight back down. But I don't think Sunderland will. Don't think Leeds will. No. Not so sure of Burnley. They've given themselves a chance. And you look at the vulnerabilities of Wolves and West Ham in particular, and you have to think, hello.
The managerial change came at West Ham. Potter did his Friday press conference, and then it was all changed. They're 4-1 shots to win up at the Hill Dickinson tonight. Everton 8 to 11. David Moyes obviously against one of his former clubs.
Yes.
Nuno obviously in charge of West Ham. So look, again, never a dull moment in the Premier League. The draw just under 3 to 1. Gab, you tend to like the draw. Where are you going in this one tonight?
I do like the draw, but I'm going to go for Everton win. I just feel that they've got players playing with such confidence. We know what Jack's been doing. Dewsbury Hall, I'm a big fan of as well. NDI as well. So I'm backing Everton. 2-1 win for Everton, I'd say.
How's Jack joking apart, Gab? How's Jack enjoying life up in Liverpool? Have you spoken to him?
Yeah, I think he's loving the fact that he can make things happen now. You're not getting told to play like a robot. Where you've got to stand at left-hand side, you can rotate, you can express yourself. You've got a manager that understands you as well. So he's just enjoying football. And, there's nothing worse as a player when you train all week and you don't play on a Saturday or Sunday, Steve-O. So be knowing you're going to start every game is what players want to be having.
I mean, there was a nice interview with Jack. Tim Sherwood did it on Soccer Saturday at the week. It was a really nice interview, and that was the most illuminating thing. He said, it's not that David Moyes doesn't tell you what to do, and he makes sure you're kept up to your defensive work, but then he says, and then go out and play. Do what you do best, and you can see that in Jack at the moment.
Nothing worse than being on the bench, Jeff.
Yeah. Chris,
you wouldn't know that, Gab.
Story of my career, Steve-O.
Chris has texted in, Steve-O, saying, morning, guys. I know Palace won't win the league, but boy, we like the trip of the big boys. Palace will have an influence in this title race. Chris, I think you're absolutely right.
Organised
I agree.
Yeah. Steve-O, thank you very much indeed.
Top man, Steve-O.
Cheers, fellas.
And that was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Coral 18 Plus, gambleaware.org. More next on the chances of Gareth Southgate being the next Manchester United manager. We should have asked Steve, shouldn't we? And a furious Jamie O'Hara rant.
You've got no legs. It's not rocket science.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 Plus, gambleaware.org.
When Sir Jim Ratcliffe took control of footballing operations at United, the Manchester-born billionaire was somewhat welcomed in as a homegrown hero, ready to save the club from the dark days of the Glazers. But in just 12 months, he became a punchbag for many fans. So what happened? Well, let's take a look and you can decide for yourself. Over the last 3 years, the club lost 300 million quid, and Ratcliffe rightfully committed to sorting that. But what seemed to get fans' backs up is the way he went about it. For example, talkSPORT understands staff lunch options at the Carrington canteen have been reduced to just soup and sandwiches, which the higher-ups at the club say will save them 1 million quid a year. Now, that might make sense for many who don't get free meals at work themselves, but it does get a little bit more picky than that. It was reported that after staff brought some stationery, they were ordered to send sellotape back because it wasn't considered to be essential. And the reward for being Steward of the Week used to be 50 quid, but that was scrapped and replaced by a paper certificate. But it's not just seemingly stingy decisions. In 2024 alone, Ratcliffe oversaw 250 redundancies, and more were announced at the beginning of 2025. Now, while there are people who acknowledge United staff numbers are overinflated, it's the optics which aren't great. Add to the mix the introduction of a flat ticket price of 66 quid for every fan, even children, while Casemiro's on 350 grand a week, and the frustration of fans reached fever pitch. Time will tell whether Ratcliffe's cost-cutting measures will improve outcomes at the club, but one thing's for sure, there's a long way to go for United to be back where many say they belong.
Very good morning to you. It is 8:35, Monday, September the 29th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby Agbonlahor, and Arnold Clough gets £750 of any used electric car or home charger. Greg's texted, something we should mention really this. What a brilliant sporting weekend, packed with memorable moments. You're absolutely right, Greg. Here's one we haven't mentioned. We've got to give a huge mention to the Rugby League playoff quarter-final. St Helens scoring one of the best tries you'll ever see with just one tackle left in the match away to Leeds Rhinos at Headingley. Absolutely superb sporting entertainment. If you haven't already, I recommend giving it a watch. Simply outstanding. Back to the football, another weekend to forget for Manchester United after losing at Brentford. They've still to win back-to-back league games under Ruben Amorim. Jamie O'Hara had a field day with their performance.
Everyone plays 4-2-3-1. Everyone. You're overrunning midfield. Every single week are watchers. You've got no legs. It's not rocket science. Every team that's struggling in the Premier League is because their midfield have got no legs. West Ham, Man United, Wolves. They get done because you've got no legs. I cannot believe I'm watching the same thing every single game with Manchester United, and no one is banging on his door and saying, "Are you having a laugh, mate?
No, he's
what
changing.
are you doing?"
Jay, he's not changing.
I mean, get rid of him then. He's got to go.
They employed him. They knew what they were getting. I said this. They knew he was going to play this system.
If he was brought in as a CEO, was he brought in as a bricklayer or something, and he was doing the job on that job, he would have been gone 6 months ago.
You'll find a lot of Manchester United fans, I think, at the moment, agree with him as well. I mean, are United's problems blindingly obvious? And if so, why can't you see them, Gabby?
Because he's stubborn, and if he's come out and said himself that he's not going to change, and he does change and it works, then obviously people will say, "Why have you done that? 6 months ago, it wouldn't be in this situation." So it's a stubbornness for me, and everyone, even if you're not big on your football, will say Manchester United, the 3-4-3 is not working. Just change it to a 4-3-3. Whatever way you want to play, the three midfielders, Mainu sitting there, outstanding footballer, and he's coming on for 10-15 minutes. Very hard. They finished the game with Mbumo as right wing back.
Yeah.
That says it all.
Let's get more on this now then, shall we? Talk and rumours that Gareth Southgate could be the next Manchester United boss. Here's talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. Morning, Crookie.
Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, boys.
What is it, April Fool's Day? Gareth Southgate, Manchester United manager? Not going to happen, is it?
Probably not, but he is a name that is on Ineos's list. The information we have at talkSPORT is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe himself has held direct talks with Gareth Southgate in the not-too-distant past, just to gauge if he is willing to return to management. Now, this isn't necessarily a sign that a change is imminent in the dugout at Old Trafford. In fact, the Manchester United hierarchy are doubling down in their support of Ruben Amorim. Ratcliffe feels he needs more time, more of this season, before he can be truly judged. But I've got to say, the groundswell of opinion amongst Manchester United fans appears to be turning in the wake of that defeat at the G-Tech at the weekend, for the reasons really that Jamie O'Hara articulated. Amorim has been there for the best part of a year now. It will be cheaper, actually, for Manchester United to sack him once he celebrates his first year anniversary in terms of compensation. But in 33 Premier League games, they've taken 34 points. Now, that is relegation form, yet to win back-to-back Premier League games, as Gabby mentioned, under his stewardship. So it's no surprise that Manchester United are just casting their net now to see what is available. The irony is that Gareth Southgate was considered when Ruben Amorim got the job. He was a name that Dan Ashworth, the sporting director, who didn't last 5 minutes at Old Trafford, was advocating, and the rest of the hierarchy didn't agree at that moment in time. So it would represent a little bit of a climb down, and we don't know if Gareth Southgate even wants to return to management in such a high-pressured job. The other names that I've been given in the last 24 hours or so as potential replacement, Oliver Glasner, who plays that same system at Crystal Palace and clearly plays it to much better effect. They're 18 games unbeaten. They're riding high in the Premier League. And, of course, they're FA Cup holders. And Andoni Iraola down at Bournemouth, I would suggest this is a massive step up, maybe too big a step up for him. But the list of stellar candidates out there.
Crookie, step up for him? Did I hear that right? Step down for him, surely?
He's manager of Bournemouth, Jeff, with the greatest respect.
Where are Bournemouth sitting in the table at the moment?
Yeah, that doesn't mean that Manchester United are not a bigger club.
I'm not saying they're not a bigger club, but, maybe Manchester United fans are slightly deluded about the appeal that managing that club has got, because managers will look at the reputations that have been wrecked by going in and trying to manage Manchester United.
Yeah, I take that point on board, but Thomas Tuchel was still keen before taking the England job. I think Mauricio Pochettino has always wanted to be Manchester United manager.
Well, neither of them have been, though, have they?
Well, no, and it's obviously not the team it once was, but I think there would still be an attraction in terms of waking up this sleeping giant, which has been dozing off for a long time now. But the point I was making is when you look at the list of potential replacements for Ruben Amorim, there's not a standout candidate, is there? There isn't a stellar name. I think it'd be the same if Chelsea tried to replace Enzo Maresca, and obviously they've come out and said that they're backing him until the end of the season, despite their poor start. So it's a problem for the hierarchy, but I think it's a problem of their own making, because Ruben Amorim, Gabby mentioned it, they knew when they appointed him that he was wedded to this system. They knew that he wouldn't deviate from this system. And they knew, and Dan Ashworth made this point, as far as I understand it, that their squad wasn't built to play this style of football. Only one team in Premier League history have won the title playing the way that Ruben Amorim wants to play, and that was Chelsea under Antonio Conte.
Crookie, you said earlier, we mentioned it loads of times, 34 points in 33 games. Won 9, drawn 7, lost 17, minus 14 goal difference. Only 5 clean sheets in those games as well. And when I watched them, Crookie, and I watched them on the weekend, I'm like, you're just not a good team. Individually, you've got good players, Fernandes and Mbeumo, Cunha, but defensively, mate, Dorgu doesn't scare you going forward as a wing-back. Neither does Dallo. Luke Shaw can't defend. And if he takes a centre-half off again for another centre-half, I'm going to switch my TV off, mate.
Yeah, and do you know what? I was speaking to a coach at an EFL club who's also a Manchester United fan in the wake of the Derby defeat a couple of weeks ago, and he couldn't get his head around that. Why, in every game, 60 to 70 minutes, he changes one of the centre-backs, because he made the point to me, and he's a former defender himself. Yep. If you're playing in a back three, that's the one position in the pitch where you're not using that much energy. He did it again at the weekend. He picked the wrong team, Gabby. You've mentioned Kobbie Mainoo. Everybody thought this would be his opportunity with Casemiro suspended. He goes for Ugarte instead. Ugarte's got qualities, but he's not got the legs for me to play in that system in the Premier League. Lenny Yoro has been one of the shining lights at the start of this season. He finds himself on the bench. Harry Maguire comes in. So it's all very muddled. And actually, when you get people like Gary Neville coming out on television and pointing out that Mason Mount ending the game as a left wing-back is not the recipe for success. You've got Wayne Rooney talking about the fact the soul's been ripped out of Manchester United. The pressure is being applied now. And I would go on record as saying if he was manager of any other team in the Premier League and he picked up so few points, he wouldn't be in a job anymore. I think he's very lucky that he's got the backing, not only the hierarchy, but actually a lot of the match-going supporters. And I'm not sure what evidence there is to suggest that this team is moving forward under Ruben Amorim.
I mean, just finally, we all saw the pictures as well of him at Brentford at the weekend, looking down at the floor. Do you think there's a chance that he will walk away from this?
Well, from what I'm told from insiders at Carrington, he's a very different character now around the training ground to the one that walked in, obviously with his reputation very high, a spring in his step from Sporting Lisbon. I think he has underestimated how big a challenge this was going to be. I think he's underestimated the Premier League with the fact he's so stubborn and so married to this system. Managers don't tend to walk away from contracts. I think if you look at it, he came out of the weekend, he said he's not concerned about his position. He's the manager until he's told that he isn't the manager anymore. I think that's a little bit arrogant from Ruben Amorim to say that he's not concerned about his position, having picked up so few wins, so few points. At some point, there needs to be some kind of scrutiny put on his record, because this was the season, having invested a lot of money in the summer, when Manchester United were expected to be challenging at least for a European place. At the moment, they're looking over their shoulders towards the bottom three. And you look at the teams that have come up, they've got Sunderland at Old Trafford next. I wouldn't be putting any money on Manchester United beating Sunderland.
Jeff, can I just say as well, Crookie, I was at the Crystal Palace game for talkSPORT doing co-coms, Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace, and I was like astonished at how organised Crystal Palace were defensively. Every time Watkins tried to make a run, 2-on-1, Rodgers gets the ball, 2 on him. That's how you play that system. I look at Manchester United in the second goal. De Ligt's looking in no man's land. The ball goes over his head. Defenders don't know who to pick up the main striker as the 3 centre-halves. They don't know how to play that formation. And if you don't understand it, look at Haaland's goal when he got put through. Luke Shaw's not picking you up. The 3 centre-halves don't know which one of the attacking players to pick up. It's a shambles to watch.
Well, the first 2 goals they conceded at the weekend were an absolute shambles. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes misses another penalty. Who knows what would have happened had that have gone in. But again, one of the other things he said at the weekend, Ruben Amorim, was that when they win, it's not the system's fault. And when they don't, everyone blames the system. We don't know, because you don't win enough games, Ruben.
Only win when there's 10 men.
For us to ask that question. And exactly, even when they do win Manchester United, it's unconvincing. They're a team who's still playing moments, and that's been the case for a long time now. I think this manager is bang under pressure.
Crookie, thank you very much.
Top man, Crookie.
Cheers, guys.
Andy's just texted. He said, "Morning, Jeff and Gab, regular to the show. Jeff, are you still predicting Man United for a top 4 finish?" Oh, yeah. Jokes aside, why does Ruben Amorim move 3 or 4 players when he makes a substitution? One of the back 3 played in 4 different positions within 20 minutes. And it must be time for Brian and Mbeumo to be on penalties. I think you are spot on with that. Absolutely time for Bruno Fernandes to be moved off them. That's for sure.
The third goal, and Mbeumo's playing right wing back. And then can't make a tackle, the counter-attack.
Keeper's got to stop that, by the way.
I know.
Well. Don't forget, more on Manchester United reaction tomorrow. We'll be joined for a full half hour by 6-time Premier League winner with the club, Rio Ferdinand. Now, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarx Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarx.
We'll be asking Danny Willett if Europe's victory in New York in the Ryder Cup over the US is the best ever by a European team. Harry Redknapp will tell us if West Ham are out of order for the way they treated Graham Potter before his sacking. And could Crystal Palace be the new Invincibles? We'll ask their former midfielder Sean Derry. Next, though, is Ange Postecoglou already under pressure at Nottingham Forest? Well, not just yet, he's not. We'll be putting that, or something like it, to Nigel Clough next. And that was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Very nearly 8:52. Good morning. Your interesting take from Kevin Newry on Manchester United's issue. Bayanda was at fault for the first goal. He left too much space behind the defence. I didn't think so, Kev. Gabby doesn't think so.
I totally disagree. No way.
Yeah, I think he was at fault for the final goal, which pretty much went through him. But there you go.
Yeah.
This is talkSPORT Breakfast. It's Monday, September the 29th. Terrible start at Nottingham Forest for Big Ange Postecoglou. Still looking for his first victory 5 games in. Just a point outside the bottom 3. Trip to Newcastle coming up next. And after Saturday's defeat at home to Sunderland, Postecoglou responded to full-time boos.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was, but that's okay. I mean, I'm sure they are frustrated. I mean, they haven't seen their team at home for 4 weeks. The last time they saw the team at home, they got beat 3-0 by West Ham. So I'm sure they're disappointed and they wanted a better outcome. I'm certainly disappointed. The players are disappointed. So I think we all share that frustration today.
OK, let's take a look at Forest and what's happening at the City Ground at the moment by a man who knows the club very well. Nigel Clough joins us now. Morning, Nigel.
Good morning, Nigel.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Gabby.
Morning, mate.
Well, you've seen a lot of things in football, Nigel, over your career. What do you make of the fact that Nuno departed in the circumstances he did? Ange came in and can't win a game.
Yeah, well, it's early days, and from what I saw of the bits of the game, I think they played quite well against Sunderland and just didn't get a break or just didn't finish a chance that they'd finished last year. I think Chris Wood had a couple that last year he was putting in with his eyes closed, and now all of a sudden, he's missed one or two, and that could be the difference in the games. So let's give him some time. Disappointing, I think, the way all Forest fans will have been, the way that Nuno went in the end, having achieved so much last season. But it's a new regime, and we need to give him more than 4 weeks before we start judging him.
Do you think as well, Nigel, he's trying to work out his best team as well, especially in the attacking areas, because Ndoye started, so did Bakwa and Chris Wood, but midweek in the Europa League, Igor Jesus done very well, Hudson-Odoi as well. You've got Mari Hutchinson, you've got McAtee, so many options. He's got to work out his right front three.
Of course, but also the European competition complicates it somewhat in terms of, less than 3 days you're playing. But he had that experience at Spurs, so he'll know it's almost a two-team situation. And not when you've got so many options, that you don't really necessarily want to play the same lads every 2 or 3 days. So give the others an opportunity, but he's coming after the window as well. So he's working with what he's got, and he just needs a little bit of time, you say, to work things out, whether it's formations, whatever, personnel. But far too early to be judging anything at the moment, and had such an exceptional season last year. It was they achieved way above what anybody thought they would. So it's just a little bit of a levelling off, and I think that was probably happening. He made the point, they lost 3-0 at home to West Ham. It was probably going to happen anyway, whoever was in charge.
In your eyes, Nigel, have they got the squad to cope with a testing Premier League season and Europa League football?
I think so. Yes, you just mentioned all those attacking options. Certainly in that area they have. I think defensively they might be tested if they get any more injuries. I think Ain is out, isn't he? Who's been an ever-present for them almost last season. So that's a blow. But confidence is such a big part of it, honestly, at any level. And as soon as they get a win under Ange, I think they'll be away.
I watched the game against Real Betis, and I thought first half they were playing some real entertaining football, weren't they? It was a different style under Nuno, but under Ange Postecoglou, you're going to see a lot more attacking football.
That's it. So you've got to change your style, you've got to change personnel, you've got to change an awful lot of things that are going to take really a few months, I think, before we see the results. I didn't see the game on Wednesday night. It's pub quiz on Wednesday night, so it's a very poor night. It's a very poor night to have a game like that on.
Sangare was very good in the six, and Henderson was frightening. Obviously, Igor Jesus as well was a menace going forward. But they just looked like they were more comfortable passing the ball through the midfield areas and attackers rotating as well.
There you go. Well, that's what he'll probably do. Now, in the next Premier League game, he could sort of play more of that side and less of the one that played Sunday and that sort of thing. And it's just working out which is his best 11 for which particular game and competition.
Big win for you all lot of the weekend. Nigel, left it fairly late, though.
Yeah, we just about deserved it. We're battling away and got a last-minute goal through Dom Dwyer, so very welcome it was. Very welcome.
You know what I'm going to ask you about next, I know you do, but Rhys Oates, he's fit, finally.
Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. He scored an unbelievable goal at Port Vale last week that should have got us a draw, and then he was a major threat again on Saturday. When you've got him in your team or on your bench or anything like that, he's just wonderful to have, honestly. You saw him for many years and just makes things happen. When he's on the pitch, he makes things happen, and he does daft things. He gave the ball away at Port Vale in the last few minutes when he should be heading towards the corner. He thought he was going to score the winner. We've got a 1-1 with 10 men. You know what these strikers are like, Gabby.
Yes, definitely. I was going to ask you about a striker that plays in numerous positions. He was at Aston Villa with me, Jordan Bowery. How good has he been for you, mate, as a player?
He's been outstanding. I mean, we class him now as a defender, not as a forward.
Yes.
He's a centre half, and we missed him Saturday. He was out injured Saturday. First game he's missed for a long, long time. I think he's played over 200 games for us in the 4 or 5 years we've been there, which is an incredible return for him, really. He's an international now as well, playing for St Kitts.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's not called up in 10 days' time or whatever.
Is that because of the home games for St Kitts are in lovely destination, international break?
Probably. He said he'd rather stay around Mansfield if that's okay.
Hey, finally.
But no, go on.
Just finally, Nigel, then, did you win the pub quiz on Wednesday?
I actually took it, so we take it in turns taking it. Right. So it was one of them. But we just have a good laugh, and just a nice variety of questions for everybody. There's age groups from 18 to 80 there, so difficult to cover all that.
Oh, well, I just about squeeze into that in that case, at the top end.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that as well.
Brilliant. Hey, Nigel, great to hear from you.
Thank you, Nigel.
Pleasure. Take care.
Top man.
Right. Always great value, isn't he, Nigel?
Yes. Legend.
Yeah, I always ask him at research because he's such a beast of a man physically, but he's got explosive pace, but probably because that he's so prone to injury. He used to play at Hartlepool, and has
hamstrings.
Everything. It's great that he's fit and firing at the moment. As for Nottingham Forest, I did mention that to you just off air. My concern for them would be set plays. I saw a stat saying since the start of 2023, Ange Postecoglou's team have conceded more goals from set plays than any other manager. It's significantly more as well. And of course, Sunderland scored from a set play.
Of course, they've got some giants in their team as well. Milenkovic, Morata, Wood, Sangare as well, who can play there. So they shouldn't be conceding as many.
And Matt has texted, and he's dead right as well. He said it'll come good with Ange. He's been here less than 3 weeks. Yes. He's had 5 games in 3 different countries in that time, only 1 at home, so hardly any time on the training ground. Many managers have difficult starts, but will come good. And it is, Matt, as you infer, way, way too early to judge him. Up next, 2016 Masters winner Danny Willett joins us following Europe's heroics over in New York.
green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58, though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed, though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Good morning, it's almost 6 minutes past 9. It is Monday, September the 29th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby Agbonlahor, and our good friends at Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Only one place to start. Europe went out of the States and came back with the Ryder Cup.
Start spreading the news.
Shane Lowry has the whole hopes of Europe on his shoulders. Can he send the ball on its way? We have retained the cup. That is it. Shane is bouncing, jumping, leaping. Americans' comeback has been halted. It was so nerve-wracking, but Shane Lowry is the star man here, winning that final hole, having made a brilliant approach shot. All square, we have got to 14. The cup comes back to Europe.
New York.
Yeah, Shane Lowry sealing the point that retained the Ryder Cup. Tyrrell Hatton soon followed with another half point, which meant that we won it outright. For Rory McIlroy, of course, it was a week spent suffering, being heckled, being abused, you would have to say, Bethpage Black. But he's had the last laugh. Of course, his Ryder Cup win, adding to him also becoming a Grand Slam champion. So just how good has this season been? Here's the man himself.
It's the best year of my career, the best year of my life. I think best year of my life on and off the course too. You know, I've got so many things to be grateful and lucky for away from the golf course. beautiful wife, beautiful daughter. My parents are healthy. I've got a great support group, great friends. And that's the important thing. Like, this is amazing. This is obviously incredible what we're doing here. But when it's all said and done, I'm going to have those really important people in my life. And I feel so lucky for that.
I'm delighted to say that joining us now, former Ryder Cup teammate of Rory, 2016 Masters champion. Good morning to Danny Willett. Morning, Danny.
Good morning, Danny.
Morning, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, man. I mean, just heard a little clip of Rory there. How difficult would it have been for Rory and the rest of the Europeans to rise above everything that was going on at the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think watching it on TV, you probably don't get the full extent of how bad a few of the bits were. I think they can dub it down a little bit, and we don't obviously hear everything. But yeah, by the sounds of it, it was pretty bad. It was always going to be up there, and I think because the boys were giving him a good old thrashing early doors, it probably made it a bit worse. You think that playing well, you'll kind of quieten them down a little bit, but in all honesty, it probably meant that they were chirping a little bit more. And as it always is, Rory would take the brunt of it. He's obviously our lead guy. He's the highest in the world rankings for Europe. He's the best player from Europe. So obviously, you know, they're probably going to try and get under his skin a hell of a lot more than anyone else's.
What fans don't realise, and I had this a lot when I played in the Premier League for Aston Villa, you get abuse off the fans. There's some personal things it says, and it spurs you on to go and even perform even better. And that's what happened with Rory, wasn't it? It was like you could see how angry he was, and Shane Lowry, but it spurred them on to perform even better. Yeah,
it's one of them. I think sometimes people, it depends where you're at. If you're playing well and you're at that level, then yeah, a lot of the time it does spur you on. I think Rory, when he stepped off and said a few choice words to a couple of fans, and then went on and stiffed it, didn't he? And ultimately, yes. I think then they won that hole, which won the match. So it was. Yeah, they did it to the wrong person. So, and that's sometimes how it can go. The fans obviously were hoping that heckling him like that would in the hope that he would then miss it or do something silly. And in fairness, for the first 2 days, for Friday, Saturday, every time they did chirp and they did heckle, the European lads had an answer with the golf games, which was brilliant. Yesterday it got a hell of a lot closer than what I think a lot of people thought it was going to do. It was a great watch, great for the neutral. Just a golf fan watching, really. Some great golf being played. And yeah, them first 5-6 matches really, really made it interesting. And obviously, yeah, getting to down with Shane and Tyrrell. I'm pretty sure Luke and a few of the other lads were probably hoping that it had been settled by them.
Yeah. I mean, you could see, couldn't you, particularly on the face of Rory, I thought. But, if you look at Rory or Tommy Fleetwood or John Ram, those who've been out, in every session, they were drained come the Sunday.
Yeah, it's just tiring. 5 matches under that pressure, in that cauldron of how it was. It just saps your energy. And it's hard to say, should you rest them for maybe a Saturday afternoon to get ready for Sunday, but it's really hard to rest your star guys that are playing so well together. So yeah, unfortunately, that's usually how it goes for them lads. They've got to play all 5 matches because they're playing great. And like I said, they're the backbone of the team. But then ultimately, because of how they want to go out, in the first few groups to get the points on the board, ultimately they'll probably come up against the better players from America as well. So it's just, it's a tough task. That's why going 5 out of 5 is not done very much. I think there's only been a couple of people in history to do it, purely because of how taxing the whole week is.
I'm new to watching golf, and everyone keeps telling me you have to watch the Ryder Cup, you have to watch it. Watched it this weekend, and I couldn't believe how entertaining it was. Some of the shots I was seeing, and even the drama as well, which I do like in sport, where some people might not. The caddies going at it. I was like, what's going on here? It's all kicking off.
Yeah, it's especially, like I said, especially there in New York with the New York fans. It always gets heated. There's always tensions are always high. But in terms of a sporting spectacle for us as golfers, it is the top. It's the top there. To have 12 of the best players from Europe against 12 of the best players from America going at it for such a legendary tournament, and now over the last, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 years, it's really, really elevated now to I mean, I don't know what the viewing numbers are, but I would have said it's probably one of the most watched sporting events going now.
Yes.
And it is entertaining. You know, you've got guys playing great golf, one-on-one. We obviously don't play loads of match play anymore, so it is, you know, you're just playing against the guy that's in front of you. And obviously the underlying thing is that the Europeans against the Americans, you know, you want to beat them. So it's perfect for golf.
I mean, look. For me, it is the sporting event, you know, of every 2 years. It's the must-see event, Danny. I don't really want to see Bryson DeChambeau, you know, with his face into Tommy Fleetwood, and I'm not having all of that stuff. What did you make of Shane Lowry's celebratory dance?
I tell you what, the boy can move when he has to. It was brilliant. I think if you look at the guys that were. Like I said, I was watching it, I was thinking, you know, who's it going to be? You're looking at the lineup thinking, you know, Rory out 4 if the guys play well, you know, it could come down to Rory, which would be lovely for him, obviously after the year he's had. And obviously didn't unfold that way. And then you look at the guys at the back end of that and you couldn't really ask for 2 better people in Shane or Tyrrell. For it to come down to one of them two. Tyrrell had a great week, Shane had a great week. They've obviously both accomplished some great things in golf. So for it to come down to Shane, who's obviously was with Rory for a couple of the matches, and you know, knowing what Shane's done, obviously winning the Open and World Golf Championships. Probably one of our coolest customers under pressure, I'd say. He's obviously got that jovial side about him, but when he means business, Shane's brilliant. And the celebration, just one of them funny things, aren't they? You can't really control it at times. I think it just all comes out, and boy can jump around a bit, can't he?
Yeah, he's my wife's new favourite. She rang me last night to say, after holing the putt, the celebratory dance, and afterwards when he was absolutely speechless.
Yes.
I mean, the only thing I miss seeing from Shane Lowry during the course of the week is they should have let him get at that heckling fan when they stopped him. You know,
it'd have been interesting.
It would have been. It would have been an interesting. It would have been a no contest. I've got a feeling.
Get it in the hole.
Yeah. Luke Donald to stay on for another 2 years. Do you reckon then, Danny?
I mean, he's obviously got a system. He's got a support system. He's got the guys behind the scenes that are obviously doing fantastic jobs. All the analytics that the Molinaris are doing. Eddie's doing. He's got himself a really, really good set of 12 lads. And again, if you went down the list, you've probably got one of 16, 18 lads that were playing really well this year that could have stepped up and played for him. But I don't know. It's a tough one. Winning back-to-back is obviously, I don't know, who was it, Jack? I think, was it only Jacqueline who was doing it? I don't know. I don't know the exact stats on it. But it's hard to do. So to go for 3 would be interesting. But he's obviously really passionate about it. He loves it. Every time he speaks to him, it's not like no one's forcing him into doing it. He truly, truly loves doing it. He loves playing golf, but he also loves the Ryder Cup. He's got a brilliant Ryder Cup record himself. And it's almost like it's been his calling. These last 4 years have been brilliant. So you never know.
I thought he was calm and he was classy and he was respectful and he got everything right. Danny, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Danny.
My pleasure.
And a couple of people have pointed out here as well, by the way. Ludwig Oberg, the only European to get the full point on day 3, needs a lot of credit. And you are absolutely right. Without him, we would have been in the mire. Coming up next, you'll hear whether former ref Chris Foy thinks the officials had a bit of a mare in not awarding Joker as a penalty yesterday. And we'll ask former captain Sean Derry how long Palace can remain unbeaten. Good morning, 9:20, Monday, September the 29th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm just Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me through until 10 o'clock. Slightly worrying from Man City's point of view. You see, Rodri missed the game against Burnley with a knee injury. It's the same knee.
Yes. That happens a lot, though.
Yeah.
Big injuries, you come back and it can take a while for it to get back to normal. Hopefully, he's not out for a long time. They need him. Really need him.
They really, really do.
Yes.
An eye-catching result in Spain as well, wasn't it? Atletico 5, Real Madrid 2. Goodness me.
And they've been unbeaten, won every game.
Yeah.
In the league until that, and Simeone needed that as well.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid.
Taken to task, Jude Bellingham was back as well, by the way, for that game. And in case you missed the news from the top flight in Sweden, Mjolby have won again at the weekend, despite the fact they were reduced to 10 men after just 50 minutes. They won 1-0 away from home. They are 11 points clear at the top of the table, 5 games left. This is a village in Sweden with just over 1,000 inhabitants on their way to creating a bit of history by winning the Swedish title. I can't think of what the equivalent would be in England. Well, there isn't one, I'm sure.
I bet it's a nice place to live as well. Chill, Jeff. Away from the rest of the world. Quiet.
Well, I'm hoping we're going to find out.
Yeah.
Because I'm hoping that Liam and the bosses are going to send us out there for a show.
I think there's a little bit of a budget left, Jeff, apparently.
Well, we're getting so many texts about Mjolby now. So now, look, every Monday, Sam Matterface and former Premier League ref Chris Foy pick over the weekend's biggest talking points on our brand new podcast, Men in Black. Here they are discussing the decision not to award Victor Gyökeres a penalty as he collided with Nick Pope.
For years, we've been told, I got the ball is no longer a defence in law. Why is it here?
The bits that can be confusing sometimes is when you get a touch on the ball. That doesn't negate the fact that there's a foul. But with the one at Newcastle yesterday, there was a slight toe on the ball from Nick Pope. We don't want to be forensically examining these decisions, and there is a slight touch on the ball, but that doesn't negate the fact that Pope has come out a little bit recklessly and collided with Gyökeres. I mean, I think it's a penalty, and I think it should have been check complete, and the decision should have stood. That there was the original decision on field made by the referee.
So the Yusuf from Sheffield's been texting about that and saying definitely not a penalty. The ball was diverted before any contact with Pope. But you just heard the explanation, Yusuf, from Chris Foy. For the full interview, by the way, check out the Men in Black podcast on the talkSPORT YouTube channel out later this morning. Just one unbeaten side in the Premier League, and it's not Liverpool. Crystal Palace, of course, ended their unbeaten start of the season courtesy of a 97th minute Eddie Nketiah goal. Didn't he take it well, by the way? Making it an incredible 18 games without defeat for themselves. How far can Palace go this season? Let's ask their former captain and first team coach, Sean Derry. Morning, Sean.
Good morning, Sean.
Morning, guys.
Well, I mean, first of all, Sean, what a performance, from Palace. It was no fluke, was it? Could have been 3, 4, 5 before half-time.
Oh, absolutely. I thought the first half performance was unbelievable. I mean, like you say, they at will opened up the Liverpool defence because of the way that they play as well, with their fullbacks advancing. Palace in transition, the counter-attacking, and we've seen that before. Me and Gabby was at the semi-final together, and we know exactly the way that they want to play, and it was brilliant to watch, and a well-deserved 3 points in the end.
At times when you watch Crystal Palace, and I watched the game live, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, 3-0 to Crystal Palace, and they look like they've got extra players on the pitch. Defensively, Sean, when you watch them, I felt sorry for Ollie Watkins at Wembley in the semi-final and during the season earlier on. Like, the way Lacroix comes across, the way Gahey, the way Richards, the way the wing-backs, Mitchell and Muniz come across as well. So organised. And you look at Manchester United trying to play that formation, and there's so many gaps. But with Crystal Palace, there's no way through.
No, they're a finely tuned group of players. I mean, I think Oliver Glasner's probably religiously been using 15, maybe players tops over the course of the last 6 months. So from the basis of the start of the unbeaten record starting last season into the cup final and a magnificent start to this new Premier League season, all the players know their jobs, and that's so key. I think every really successful team has a successful back four, back five, and in Crystal Palace's case, they've got a settled team of 11, 12, 13 players, and it's really, really good to see.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, A couple of causes of concern maybe for Palace fans are the fact that Oliver Glasner is going to be on the radar of a lot of other clubs, I would imagine.
Oh, you can expect so, Jeff. I mean, he's just been amazing for this football club. You know, took on what was a really settled Premier League team. You know, the number of managers on the back of Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson set a fantastic template, and Oliver Glasner's come in and put his own stamp on it. And I guess, you know, there's going to be every club in Europe, the big ones, you know, I think some of the big ones in the Premier League are going to come sniffing as well at certain moments. And unfortunately for Crystal Palace, you know, they can't do a lot about that. You know, they know where they sit in the pecking order, and that's not being disrespectful to the football club. It's just if one of the big ones come, you know that your manager's going to go. He's done so well for the football club.
What I love about Crystal Palace as well is that at times they can soak up pressure. They don't mind dropping back and hitting on the counter-attack. I mean, Sarr, he's had a little injury, hasn't he? He's back from injury now. What a player he is. Mateta, the way he bullied Canate on the weekend. I've not seen many players do that to Canate. And they've got options off the bench now as well, with Nketiah coming on and getting a winner.
Well, brilliant for Eddie Nketiah. You know, he had a bit of a slow start for Crystal Palace, but this goal at the weekend should only give him the confidence to move forward, of course. But you mentioned Mateta, and, you know, Pino's come in, a latest signing. Losing Eze, you know, a magnificent player to be lost at Crystal Palace, done so well. But they've just kind of kept going, and they've got this brilliant way of playing. And what really impresses me more than anything is that everybody at the football club, most importantly the fans, accept that they're not going to be in possession. And that's fine. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be in possession all the time. But in transition, them moments where they can break, they fill the box, the wing-backs go and join in, there's 5 in the box, and they look a real threat.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've been absolutely brilliant, and what they've achieved is no fluke at all, Sean. The question is, with European football as well, how big a strain is that going to put on their resources, and can they maintain this sort of level?
Well, that's the challenge, Jeff, isn't it? You know, they've got a massive game this Thursday night over in Poland, and, you know, they go over there full of hope, and I guess the pressure on, not the pressure, but the excitement, I guess pressure, because, you know, they're probably the biggest club in the competition. They want to go and win that competition, I guess, to be in Europe next year. So that poses a problem for the Premier League. But listen, 18 games unbeaten, they should be looking at these games and really going there full, you know, on the full front, on the full, you know, a full metal down, really. And it was interesting. I was listening to one or two things that Oliver Glasner said, and they're going to embrace it. And that's brilliant for Crystal Palace fans to go there, travel, come back. I think they've got Everton on Sunday as well. And let's hope they can go 19 games unbeaten into the next international break.
Yeah, well, if there was any justice in the world, they'd be in the Europa League. But I'll tell you what, they've got every chance of winning that Conference League. That's for sure. And we certainly all wish them well, I think. Sean, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Sean.
Cheers, guys.
Well, when I say we certainly all wish them well, Brighton fans won't agree with that statement.
Oh, of course.
But aside from Brighton
what
fans,
I love about them, Jeff,
we all wish them well.
They don't fear anybody.
Yeah.
They don't fear anybody. Liverpool, the talent they had on the pitch, no problem. We're going to play the same.
Clear way of playing.
Exactly.
It's exactly what Sean was saying.
Everyone knows
everybody knows what everybody else is doing. Everybody knows their jobs, and they all do their jobs.
And he's not taking centre-halves off, is he? And bringing one on at 70 to change the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because as Sean just said, he plays with 13, 14, 15
Exactly. It's not hard, is it?
Coming next, what chance do West Ham fans of seeing the West Ham way? It's been taken to task for using that phrase. But what chance do they have of seeing attractive football under Nuno? Harry Redknapp up after this.
cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know, here's the tale. Tennis has its roots in 12th century France when people used to make balls from all sorts. Cork, wool, chalk, animal fur and even human hair. Uniformity was found centuries later when people started making balls out of something called vulcanized rubber, invented in the US. But the balls kept on breaking, so a British lawyer, who also loved tennis, suggested they put a flannel covering on the outside, and thus the tennis ball as we know it was born. One problem, it was either white or black. And when the controller of BBC Two, Sir David Attenborough, decided Wimbledon would be shown in colour on the BBC in 1967, no one could actually see the balls on telly. So the International Tennis Federation went away and created a new colour called Optic Yellow, which would show up without the need for a 4K LED display. Not that anyone had that in the 1960s, of course. Since then, all tennis balls have been covered in that material and have their trademark colour for that exact reason. Amateur tennis players and dogs worldwide are forever grateful. You could say the ITF aced it.
Good morning, 9:35. Where has the morning gone? It's been great, hasn't it? Yes. Been reflecting on that Ryder Cup victory, which we'd always expected it to, though it was in doubt once or twice, to say the least, during the course of last night. Kept me out of bed as well, didn't it, you, Gabby? Goodness me.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah.
Drama, everything.
It had the lot.
Unbelievable golf.
It had the lot. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. Me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby's with us. And, of course, Arnold Clark gets £750 off any used electric car at home charger. And now, all change at West Ham again. Nuno is the new man in the dugout at the London Stadium, West Ham's third manager since David Moyes left just over a season ago. And, of course, it's David Moyes that they come up against tonight as they go to Everton. Moyes has been speaking ahead of tonight's game and claimed he's got no hard feelings towards West Ham.
It's great to see them all. I had a big relationship with so many of the players and the staff there and everybody at the club. It was good. We had some great times together and always look forward to seeing them because many of the players there I brought in at the time and you know, they were really good people to work for.
Yeah, David Moyes, who's doing terrifically at Everton at the moment. Let's get a bit more on this. Say a very good morning to somebody who I know was up late last night watching the golf. Harry Redknapp joins us now. Morning, Harry.
Good morning, Harry.
Jeff, Gabby, good morning.
Yeah, did you watch the
mate.
golf last night?
Oh,
That
absolutely.
question, obviously.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I thought it was slipping away at one time, but it was amazing. What a great day. What a great day TV, wasn't it? I loved every minute of it.
Yeah. I mean, the players were getting some stick. But look, Harry, as a manager, you'll have been used to getting stick at places
Absolutely.
Along the way. But you don't expect it in golf, do you?
No, you don't. No, it was out. Went over the top for sure. You know, Rory got almighty stick. That
didn't he just?
You know, he was crazy. I mean, you know, he coped so well with it, and that was a great that was a great singles match. Him and Sheffield, I mean, went right down to the wire. You know, it was two of the world's number 1 and 2 slugging it out. It was fantastic to watch.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's turn to West Ham. I think probably nobody's surprised that Graham Potter has been shown the door finally.
No.
Are you surprised that Nuno has been their choice?
Yeah, I suppose the only problem, Jeff, you look around at the moment, there's not an awful lot of options, is there? You know, there's people in jobs I'm sure they'd like, but there's not too many. Gary O'Neill got to mention. Gary could have been a possibility. But yeah, Nuno, difficult really. I mean, it'd be interesting. Listen, he did well at Forest. Did a good job at Wolves. Didn't do great at Tottenham, obviously, like lots of people in recent years. But it's a great opportunity for him. Great club to go to, and I was shocked. I just didn't see too many candidates. Really, it was difficult to find anybody that jumped out and really excited you that was available.
Harry, Nuno's teams are normally defensively very well, especially Nottingham Forest last season. And that was the problem, wasn't it, at West Ham? Yes, scoring goals was an issue, but losing 3-0 the opening day of the season to Sunderland, 5-1 to Chelsea, then losing at home to Spurs, 3-0. That's 13 goals in 5 games they've conceded this season. Defensively, not good enough.
No, the problem is, Gabby, that, you know, we all talk about the West, as Jess mentioned earlier, you know, that we talk about the West Ham way. I mean, people still go, that's back in the days of Ron Greenwood when they had, you know, 3 players that played in the World Cup winning team in 66. It was, you know, and they had people like Johnny Byrne, Peter Braybrook, incredible players, Johnny Sissons. So they still always refer back to the West Ham way. I mean, you need the players to play that way. What he's got to do now is to consolidate and make sure they get out of relegation trouble, and if it means being solid at the back and not conceding goals, I don't think we're going to see a lot of free-flowing football, but winning football matches is what it's going to be about, picking up points, scrapping away, and that's what Nuno's going to do, obviously. So I don't think they're going to suddenly start playing any kind of free-flowing football because they haven't got the players really to do it.
What do you make of the way West Ham handled this, Harry? Because, you know, obviously been a lot of rumours about Graham Potter. They lost last weekend, but they let him go through the week, take the press conference on Friday before announcing on Saturday that he was sacked, and immediately then announcing that Nuno was taking his place.
Yeah, I mean, we kept seeing that, you know, he was safe and they were backing him, and then suddenly he's gone. And, you know, Jeff, that is the way of football now, isn't it? You know, all these deals are done. They'd have been speaking to Nuno 3 weeks ago. You know, make no mistake, it happens. You know, I know, when I lost my job at Tottenham, I'd already been talking to another manager. It happens, you know. They don't just suddenly sack a manager, or very few clubs do, and then think, oh, where do we go now in the middle of the season? They've got somebody in line. It's all done. The deal's done. And they've dragged it out a bit. It's always a bit messy, but in the end, that's the way. Unfortunately, there's loyalty is not a key word, is it, in managers or players or anybody really in the game. People get the opportunity to move, and they, you know, one man comes, another man goes. That's the way it is.
I think you look at recent results, they probably had no choice, did they, Harry? Because look at Sunderland. You know, everyone would have thought, okay, Sunderland might go back down. Look at them, they're in 5th position, 11 points. Leeds are looking like a strong side. Burnley can hold their own. Obviously not on the weekend against Man City, but they can. So if you're West Ham, you're looking and saying, oh, who are the 3 teams that are going to go down? You have to be very careful.
That's right. Yeah, so it looks a little bit different, Gabby. As you say, Sunderland have started great. I mean, spent a lot of money, you know, recruited a lot of players in the summer, and it looks like it's working out for them. Leeds are always dangerous. You know, Ellen Road is a difficult place to go and get a victory. It's always intimidating. Big crowd, great atmosphere. So it's going to be tight. There'll be 1 or 2 teams, you know, Wolves obviously, but Wolves had a great result with Spurs the other day.
Should have won.
You know, should have won. So it's going to be open. It could be, who knows, it could be a complete turnaround. All 3 could stay up this year, which would be amazing because we've not had that for years, have we? So it's going to be an interesting league, a race at the bottom of the table as much as it is at the top this year.
I mean, when you look at that West Ham squad, Harry, do you think it's good enough?
Yeah. Don't excite me too much. You take Bowen out. It was fantastic for them. I really see a very, very average looking squad of players. The big problem's been the recruitment. The recruitment's been poor. They've recruited badly, I think, and you know, that's been the key, really. And they lost a boy to Tottenham, kudos. So I think that has been the big problem. Whoever goes in there, they've not got an easy job. It's not a great squad. He's going to have to, consolidate, make them difficult to beat, grind some results out until the next window comes, and maybe they can do a bit of business. But at the moment, whoever's been bringing the players in, they haven't done great jobs.
They've got a lot to answer for, haven't they? Because there's been some promising signings. I think Fernandes will come good. 42 million from Southampton. Diouf has done well at left back, hasn't he? But Tadibo, Harry, 36 million, benched again last weekend.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a disaster. Hermansen,
Absolutely.
20 million from Leicester. He's no better than what they had already in Areola.
No.
They go back and get Fabianski back in as well. So some real bad signings for West Ham.
Yeah, you only, Gabby, these days, you read, as a manager, back in the day, you signed every player. You was the manager. You went out. You bought the players. If they were no good, you got the blame. It's down. Now you get the blame if they're no good, and you don't sign them. They're brought in you've got every club now. They've got committees. They've got the chairman will be involved. David Sullivan is very hands-on. David will have a strong opinion on every player that comes in. Believe you me, every agent has got David's phone number. They'll be talking to him about players as well. So, everybody will have a saying who comes in, and the manager would have a very small part of that. That's the way the game's gone there. But who gets the blame when it goes wrong? The manager.
Yeah, absolutely. Gets the sack, and that's what's happened. Harry, thanks very much.
Top man, Harry.
Great
Thank
talking
you, mate.
to you guys. Well done.
You
Bye,
too, mate.
bye.
Cheers, pal.
And you can hear Nuno's first game in charge of West Ham tonight. It's live on talkSPORT against David Moyes' Everton. Build-up starts from 7, kick-off at 8. Live and exclusive again on talkSPORT. Do not miss it. Emma Raducanu is in action at the moment in the China Open. Last 32, I believe it is. She's just taken the first set from the 5th seed, Jessica Pegula, by 6 games to 3.
Such a great idea, Jeff, though, having it in front of us, big screen.
It's great. I mean, you wouldn't...
Covering the view. Perfect.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to look outside. No.
Who would complain?
The daft thing is, Gabby, is we've been sitting here for an hour this morning before I even noticed it was there. Got used to not trying to look out of the window. But Raducanu started off brilliantly. She looks like she's going to lose the first game of the second set, but she was in excellent nick in that opening set. Up next, you'll hear a couple of snippets from some of our very confident Arsenal guests this morning. I know, not that again. And we'll ask whether they have emerged as title favourites.
We are going to win the league. I wouldn't be surprised if we win it by mid-March.
morning. It is 9:48, nearly done. Monday, September the 29th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jess Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. It's more Arsenal chat, guys. Gabriel's 96th minute winner got the Gooners confident of a first Premier League title since 2004. The bookmakers now have them favourites to win the Premier League. Here's content creator Joel Bayer and Piers Morgan having their say with us this morning.
I genuinely do think, Gabby, we've got the best squad in the league. You know what it's been like for us in the last couple of seasons at St James's Park. It's been horrid for us.
Arsenal, I've seen enough. Arsenal will win the Premier League. Liverpool are overrated. They've been very lucky. We are going to win the league. I wouldn't be surprised if we win it by mid-March.
Yeah.
Unbearable.
Well, yeah.
Yes, unbearable.
Yeah, win it by mid-March. I tell you what, we'll have Piers back on in, the end of March, early April. Not before, and ask him about Arsenal then,
Yes.
shall we?
Jeff,
they're not going to be far away.
I've got a crazy stat for you there. Arsenal have scored 36 goals from corners in the Premier League since August 2023.
Wow.
36, 50 more than any other English side. So set pieces are very important.
Very important.
Remember Ange last season? Oh, yeah, I don't need a set piece coach. You do.
And that's why they conceded so many.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy stat.
Let alone not scoring from them.
Yep.
Arsenal got to defend set plays better than they did at Newcastle. That is for sure at the weekend. Let's have a quick call. Here's Nick, who's an Arsenal fan. Morning, Nick.
Good morning, Nick.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby. Gabby. I've been waiting patiently for this call since since you came out with that horrendous prediction when the fixtures were released in June, saying Arsenal would lose 3 of their opening 6. I think you said a draw at Old Trafford, followed by 3 defeats at this point. And when I saw that you were on the breakfast show last night and it wasn't Quisty, I thought I've got to call up.
Can I apologise? Will you accept my apology, Nick?
I would love your apology live on air.
I apologise, Nick.
Arsenal fans and Mikel Arteta.
I apologise, Nick and Mikel Arteta, for Arsenal winning games that they should win.
Well, no, that's it. They should win them, but you didn't think we would win them, did you, Gab?
I know. That's why I don't play the lottery, mate. I'm miles off it at predictions.
Fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you. No, it was a great result yesterday. I think that was one we had to get over the line. So full optimism ahead now. Make this a real title race.
They look like they believe as well, don't they? When you watch the players' reactions. You know, they
didn't
didn't.
Give up, did they? They kept going.
Yeah, they didn't go and like.
They grabbed the ball, went back to the halfway line. No celebrations. Waited for the winner.
Yep, spot on, mate.
You feeling confident about the title then, Nick?
Fairly confident, Jeff. Yeah, it's the best squad I've seen at Arsenal. I've had a season ticket for over 25 years. Never seen a squad like this. So yeah, I think we'll be right in there.
Brilliant. Nick, thanks very much indeed for the call. Thanks for putting him right.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate. Now then, Champions League week, of course. Let's take a look ahead to the Champions League with TNT Sport.
Breakfast football preview on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, Champions League is back this week, and I guess the standout, well, no question, because it has one of the major characters of world football returning to his old stamping ground, Jose Mourinho, back at Stamford Bridge. Here's the Benfica boss tomorrow night. The way things are going, it will soon be easier to list the clubs he hasn't been the manager of. It is live right here on talkSPORT. Look, Jose, nothing would give him greater pleasure, would it, than to go back to Stamford Bridge and get a result.
Anything can happen, can't they? The way Chelsea are playing at the moment. I mean, 1 win in 5. That was against Lincoln City, not playing their best football. Cole Palmer being out. Also, players getting sent off every game, it seems. And Benfica a decent side. If he will he go defensive? Will he sit back and try and hit Chelsea on the counter-attack? But you just know everyone's going to be tuning for that game.
Well, he'll surely, man of his abilities, he'll have seen Chelsea's potential defensive vulnerabilities. I know that he errs usually on the side of caution, but this is a real opportunity to take advantage of those Chelsea defensive concerns.
100%. I said it a few weeks ago, Jeff, and I remember you saying it as well. Chelsea have got decent centre-halves. Tosin and Chalobah, decent. But they're never going to go and win you a Champions League or a Premier League. They're not at the level. Levi Colwill, yes, better than anything Chelsea have available. Long-term injury. They should have went and strengthened. They've got a young defender as well, Achimong. He's decent as well. But you look at Van Dijk, you look at Konate to a certain degree, you look at Saliba, Gabriel. You know, you look at Crystal Palace, Richards, Lacroix, Gahey, top defenders. But Chelsea, that will cost them in the long run.
Yeah. And, of course, Chelsea having lost their opening game, if they were to lose against Benfica, it would just put them in a little bit of peril. That's the issue always for me at this stage of the Champions League, is the lack of jeopardy. You know, because Liverpool go to Galatasaray. It's a tough trip. It's a long trip
you lose
as well, and one Arne Slot doesn't want. But if they lose, it's not the end of the world. And I wonder if he'll be tempted, you know, to rest a few.
100%. And there's a big game, Barcelona, PSG, and PSG have got so many of their starters out injured, Jeff. If Barcelona go and beat them, no problem.
Yeah.
You know, we've got enough games to go and win after that when the players come back from injury. So like you says, there's not much jeopardy in teams losing. And will you see a more rotated Liverpool lineup as well?
Yeah.
You know, players that maybe aren't performing. Wirtz, maybe he doesn't start again.
He's been a real disappointment so far, hasn't he? I mean,
007,
I was a big fan, and I'm sure he will come good, Florian Wirtz, but he hasn't contributed enough so far, has he?
He's had a lot of chances as well to score, but he just seems like he feels like he's got a bit too much time when he's in front of goal and lacklustre efforts on goal. But can we give him a chance? Do you know what I mean? It's 7 Premier League games in, 6 Premier League games in, sorry.
Absolutely.
Give the guy a chance. Maybe he needs a bit more time to adapt to the Premier League. So does Frimpong as well.
No question about that.
Yeah, but he will come good for sure.
Obviously, Arsenal have got Olympiacos. It's going to be interesting to keep one eye on the crowds, by the way, this week, after what we were talking about earlier on. I want to mention one player who a lot of people may not be familiar with, and he's going to be playing in the Union Saint-Gilloise game against Newcastle. But he's not playing for Newcastle.
Yes.
His name is Christian Burgess, and he is the captain and centre-half of Union Saint-Gilloise. Now, in days gone by, he was at Middlesbrough. He spent a season on loan at Hartlepool. He went to Portsmouth as well. And he is an absolutely inspirational figure, not just because of the fact that he's come from, you know, the level of, with all due respect, our level at Hartlepool, to be playing and captaining a side in the Champions League. That is some achievement. And by the way, they won their opening game. But he, you know, he does huge amounts of charity work.
Lovely.
He's multilingual. He is... he's an example to everybody of what can be achieved.
Of course, dreams. No, dreams are playing at the top. I mean, when that Champions League music comes on, Jeff, and you see some of the new teams to the Champions League, they're smiling, they're laughing to each other like, wow, the Champions League music, we're playing in the Champions League. And by the way, they're doing very well in their league as well.
They are.
Top of the league as well, doing very well.
Yeah, when that Champions League theme comes out tonight,
I miss it.
They are going to go.
I'm going to miss it
tomorrow.
this year, Jeff.
Yeah?
I'm going to miss it at my lovely Villa Park.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable, mate.
Yeah, but you won't miss it if you win the Europa League.
Yes. And maybe we rest all our players last couple of months for the Europa League.
Well, maybe you do, depending on your league position.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But that's Wednesday, Union Saint-Gilloise against Newcastle United. Don't forget, you can stream over 185 UEFA Champions League matches and every match of the Europa League and Conference League live with TNT Sports on Discovery Plus, or watch TNT Sports channel on EE Sky and Virgin Media.
Breakfast football preview on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18+ terms and conditions apply.
Gabby, thank you. When are you back?
Back on Wednesday with Andy Goldstein covering for Bentley on Drive.
Oh, right, okay. Yes. Oh, nice long sleep.
Nice lying,
Jeff.
Yes. Breakfast in bed a lot.
No, don't. Stop it right there. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 alongside Super Ali McCoy's two preferred Oasis.
Shocking.
To me. Up next is Jim White, Simon Jordan and Martin O'Neill.